Here on Sports Extra, we are live at the Vitality Stadium. I'm Alistair Bruce Ball. I'm sitting alongside the former Southampton defender Francis Benali. The two teams, Bournemouth and Manchester City, have just marched out in front of us, and Manchester City, the champions, once again this evening look to close the gap on the leaders Liverpool at the top of that Premier League table to just 1 point. Liverpool in League Cup final action tomorrow. Their win in midweek puts them on 60 points. Manchester City beat Brentford on the Tuesday night, which took them to 56. Arsenal play tonight at home against Newcastle. They're on 55. And Aston Villa have just stretched the gap ahead of Tottenham with their win against Nottingham Forest this afternoon. They're in fourth at the moment on 52 points. So welcome one and all. Blue skies above. I think it's going to be a chilly February evening come the end of the game tonight. Manchester City players just taking off the tracksuit tops. They're in change kit this evening, so it's white shirts, burgundy shorts and white socks, and Bournemouth in the famous black and red stripes. Franny, Bournemouth have had a pretty up and down season actually, so no win in the first 9 games, then won 7 of the next 9, and now we find them tonight without a win in their last 6, although by all accounts pretty good performance at Newcastle last week to get a point. This though, and we've been watching Manchester City in the warm-up, this is a different level again, is it? This is going to be tough for them.
It certainly is, Ali, and I'm really looking forward to this one though, because it's got the potential to really be an exciting game. But you're right, it's a formidable task in front of Bournemouth this evening. The City side are just a machine, aren't they? You know, even when they make changes, 3 changes here today from their last run out, they're just formidable, aren't they? And I'm excited to look at how the players do go about it from both sides, really. Bournemouth, I'd like them to try and be inventive, sort of positive, attack City, get the crowd behind them, and if they can catch City on an off day, if they have that at all. City, I mean, they've only not scored City in 2 games this season, haven't they? Once against Arsenal, once against Villa, in those 2 1-0 defeats against them. But yeah, in every other game they've scored, so you've got to say it's a bit of an uphill task today.
They have lost a few games this season, Manchester City, but they've won 7 of their last 8 in the Premier League. Just the 1 draw against Chelsea last weekend. The 2 teams are in the huddle. Let's give you the team news very quickly. Franny just referred to it there. 3 changes for Manchester City from the 1-0 win over Brentford on Tuesday. Kevin De Bruyne is not one of the changes, but I will mention him first. The hamstring issue is obviously still a little problem for him, so he's named amongst the substitutes. The good news is that so is Jack Grealish. He's been out with an injury recently, but he is also on the bench. The 3 changes though: Nathan Ake comes back into the defence, former Bournemouth man of course, he'll start at left back. Kyle Walker drops out, so it pushes Manuel Akanji over to the right hand side. Kovacic and Mateus Nunes both come in. Oscar Bob and Julian Alvarez drop out. 1 change for Bournemouth from that 2-2 draw at Newcastle. The 20-year-old Hungarian Milos Kerkez starts at left back. First Premier League start since early December in the 3-0 win away to Manchester United. Bournemouth have had problems in the left back position this season because of injuries. Something like 4 or 5 players have slotted in there at left back. Kerkez is a recognised left back and he's back in the starting lineup this evening. We're underway. Bournemouth have kicked off and Manchester City are trying to bring the ball out of their own half. Rodri prods it forward. Foden is there to get his first touch. He looked absolutely razor sharp in the warm. He played brilliantly on Tuesday night. Very encouraging, I think, for England fans in particular ahead of the Euros this summer. Regular starter now for Pep Guardiola, so in previous seasons has been in and out of the team. Started last 14 games in all competitions for Manchester City, and at the moment he's running hard off the ball as Bournemouth try and play out from the back. It's played up towards the halfway line by Senesi. Ryan Christie is there, plays a first-time ball on the spin into the Manchester City half. Edison comes out, long way off his line outside his penalty area, side foots it to Akanji. The pass up the line reaches Haaland. Haaland fizzes it back to Akanji. Little 1-2 with Rodri, and then Manchester City play back into their own penalty area. And Franny, you were enjoying Edison's distribution in the warm-up, weren't you?
Yeah, we were touching on it, weren't we? For anyone that wasn't tuning in at that point, you know, in the warm-up he was just pinging balls from the 18-yard box in the warm-up to one of his goalkeeping coaches in Bournemouth's half of the pitch, and literally the coach did not have to move anything more than 1-2 paces at most. His accuracy was just incredible, but we've seen him already, as you just said there, Ali, you know, coming out of the box, sort of almost playing as that sweeper kind of role as he does. He's almost like an outfield player, isn't he? I'd love to watch him in the five-a-side on a training pitch, because I bet he loves playing out on goal, and he's got the ability and talent of the outfield players as well.
It's the voice of Franny Benali, Radio 5 Sports Extra. Scotland-England, the Calcutta Cup continues over on 5 Live. Ederson's got the ball at his feet, just walking here and just sort of teasing the Bournemouth forwards and saying, come and get it. Solanke starts to run towards him. Ederson floats one down the middle of the pitch. Adam Smith heads it away powerfully. It bounces inside the Manchester City half. Akanji nods it forward. Rodri, 2 players on him, holds them both off, plays it to Kovacic, nearly gets that through to Haaland, who's bothering both of the Bournemouth centre-backs there, but Zabarnyi and Senesi team up and just about deal with it for Bournemouth. And Zabarnyi is able to stroke a pass into the feet of Lewis Cook. So Bournemouth have Neto in goal, Adam Smith, Ilya Zabarnyi, Marcos Senesi and Milos Kerkez as the back 4. Ryan Christie and Lewis Cook in front of them. Cook nods a ball back to Zabarnyi, closed down by Foden again, and Neto just sweeps a pass out with his right foot away to the left. Kerkez keeps it in play. Side foots a ball down the left-hand touchline. Tavernier plays it infield. Rodri's there first for Manchester City. In it comes to Foden. Layoff back to Rodri. Forward to Foden again. Drag back heel pass from Foden. And City work it back to the halfway line. And Diaz just clips a little ball to Ake on the left. Bournemouth have an exciting, fluid attacking 3 in behind Dominic Solanke. That's Semenyo, Kluivert and Tavernier, and I think you'll see them move about a fair bit as the game goes on, and that's exactly what Franny was talking about right at the start of this game. In terms of trying to trouble Manchester City, it's going to be those guys and trying to feed Dominic Solanke, who's having a fantastic season for Bournemouth.
Yeah, he's been outstanding, hasn't he, Ali? But yeah, just seeing how Bournemouth have approached these opening minutes, they're putting City under pressure, and it's like we see in many games, really. I think they need to do just a little bit more in this game today, other than just sort of like trying to pressurise the players. These Manchester City players are of the quality that they're used to being shut down. They can handle the ball under tight positions. So they've got to be putting a few challenges in to win the ball back, I think. Not just trying to pressurise and force a mistake, because City are just that good at the moment. That
is a foul. Bournemouth desperate to win the ball back off Phil Foden. Wasn't really going anywhere inside the Bournemouth half, and Kluivert just let him know he was there. Came through the back of him, knocked him over, and our referee, who is Jared Gillett, blew the whistle and gave Manchester City the free kick. Manchester City have Ederson in goal, Akanji, Stones, Diaz, Ake the back 4, Rodri and Kovacic in front of them. That's a foul by Ake on Semenyo. Free kick for Bournemouth. Mateus Nunes, and then Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden and Erling Haaland complete the Manchester City lineup. Franny.
Just interesting, sort of talking about Haaland as clearly that attacking threat up front for City, isn't he? But just seeing it, Phil Foden's role and how Bournemouth are looking to deal with that. Haaland is going to clearly sort of be a nuisance for Senesi and Zabarnyi today, but Zabarnyi looks like he's been the one so far in his early stages to be the one stepping out of the back 4, the player that goes in and engages Phil Foden whenever he tries to get on the ball in that kind of number 10 position.
Brazilian goalkeepers at either end. Neto all in yellow for Bournemouth, takes the free kick, knocks it forward into the Manchester City half, cleared, and it's back here for Lewis Cook. Lofted diagonal from him, chased down the left by Tavernier in front of the Manchester City fans. Easy to pick out in the Vitality Stadium opposite us, occupying about a third of that east stand that runs alongside the opposite touchline to our commentary position, and lots of them decked out in the light blue. But there's a fair few it's sort of shirts, overcoats and jumpers today, because it's a nice afternoon, but it is chilly, it's fresh. Here's Ake turning inside his own penalty area. Rodri's there to help out. What a lovely ball from Rodri, just laced up the middle of the pitch to Bernardo Silva. Little trick from him, and then a pass forward to the left to Nunez, who let the ball run across his body. Adam Smith is there to try and shadow him. Nunez dances inside, moving at speed into the Bournemouth box, hits the shot, didn't get enough power on it, just dribbled away from his left foot, and Bournemouth able to clear down the right wing for them, and Ake just knocks the ball out of play. He thought that came off Semenyo and should have been a City throw. It's a Bournemouth throw. Nunez showed a little turn of speed there, didn't he, Mateus Nunes?
He certainly did, Ali, didn't he? And Adam Smith, if he's going to be taken on like that this afternoon, he's going to have a long and difficult afternoon, because that was positive, it was direct. He drove into the 18-yard box, he just fluffed his finish at the last moment. But going back to the build-up right in his own 18-yard box, Nathan Ake showing the composure in his own 18-yard box, and where there was that split second where you thought, they've got a chance of pinching this. And I think it was Semenyo that was putting him under pressure, but they just calmly find a pass under pressure, work their way out, and then, as you say, Nunes was racing away down the touchline before you know it.
Bournemouth fans know all about the qualities of Nathan Ake. £41 million Manchester City paid for him. Bit of a snip, really. 6th season now at Manchester City. Long ball downfield from Neto. Half time at Murrayfield, by the way, in the Six Nations. Scotland lead England 17 points to 13. So second half commentary is over on 5 Live. And then after the rugby has finished, listeners on 5 Live will join us. We'll join up with Sports Extra as well. We'll take you through until full time in this game. And then Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage will take your calls on 606. There'll also be updates of Arsenal against Newcastle. Premier League game kicks off at 8 o'clock this evening, which promises to be a good one. So updates of that into 606 tonight. John Stones under a bit of pressure from Solanke. Got there in time. Clips the ball back to his goalkeeper, Ederson. Ederson immediately plays it to Diaz, edge of the area. Diaz curling ball onto the chest of Haaland. Haaland rock solid, holds it up. Couple of challenges on him. Tavernier comes back and just thumps the ball into the stands, and that'll be a throw-in for Manchester City, which Bernardo Silva wants to take quickly to Akanji to Diaz, and Diaz comes back to Ederson. 8 minutes played. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 0. Bournemouth have played Manchester City 20 times in their history, drawn 2, lost 18, never beaten them in a competitive game. That is what these Bournemouth players are trying to do for the first time this evening. Bernardo Silva's ball, Foden, lovely pass into the feet of Haaland. Haaland's right-footed effort curled wide, and the Bournemouth fans give him the jeers and the boos and the whistles for a rare miss. It was on the right foot rather than the left foot for Haaland.
Oh, it certainly was, but what a bit of play, and a first-time ball from Foden, which was just exquisite, putting Haaland in, and his shot from the edge of the box. You'd imagine him even on his right foot there to at least hit the target. It's a yard or two wide. You expect him to do much better in that scenario. A let off certainly for Bournemouth.
John Akers, our reporter here for 5 Live. So while you're listening to the rugby, if you are on 5 Live, John will be firing the reports in from this game. He's a keen fantasy football manager like myself, and both of us will have captained. I'm sure he's captained Erling Haaland. John, have you captained Erling Haaland? Give us a nod. He has, yeah. I thought he had. So we don't want to see Haaland missing chances like that from the fantasy football point of view. For us, here's Semenyo, edge of the penalty area for City. Nice ball across to Kirkes. Shoot, they say. Oh, he hits it well, and Ederson tips it over the bar. Fairly straight at Ederson, but swerving a bit. Got a good strong hand on it. Corner for Bournemouth.
Yeah, positive reaction from Bournemouth, and they work the ball to Kirkes out on the left-hand side, and it's one of those swerving sort of balls. He sort of strikes it through it a little bit, and it's looks like it's straight at Ederson. He's taken no chances with that, making sure it goes over the bar. Happy to see it go for a corner. Good
start to the game. 9 minutes in, Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 0. Villa beat Nottingham Forest 4-2. Brighton 1, Everton 1. Palace beat Burnley 3-0. So Oliver Glasner's started with a win there. Manchester United beaten at home this afternoon by Fulham. Late goal from Alex Iwobi. Corner for Bournemouth comes in swinger, right into the arms of Ederson, who grabs it gratefully on the edge of his 6-yard box and comes running out to the edge of the penalty area. Slings it out with his right arm to the bearded Bernardo Silva. Tall, muscular figure of Rodri gets on the ball. Back it comes to Akanji. Now Bernardo Silva, just in front of his own penalty area. John Stones pops into midfield, as he is wont to do in this Manchester City system. So he's now sitting in central midfield, goes back to a back three. Foden's come very deep. He's trying to thread a ball through the middle. That's half blocked, and Solanke nearly got onto it, and Foden just stuck a boot out. Toes it back here to Diaz, calls for it from Diaz. Diaz plays it to Stones instead, and Rodri now plays a firm ball back to Akanji, and it goes to the right to Silva. Foden lets it run across his body. His heels are clipped by Lewis Cook, and that is going to be a free kick for Manchester City. Senesi actually with the foul on Foden there, which shows you how far Senesi had come up from the back to deal with that, Franny.
Yeah, and when you look at the way that City rotate, Ali, you know, Bournemouth have got to be communicating all the times. If one of the players switches off or there's a lack of communication at any point, City, one of the players would just pop up in a position and they'll be punishing them, I'm sure. But yeah, interesting to see Senesi going so deep into the City half to make that challenge. Probably not a bad place to make a foul, to be honest, is it?
Neto, Bournemouth's keeper, floated ball out to the left. Kirkes confidently takes it down on his chest, infield to Christie, one touch and then a ball down the channel for Solanke to chase. Diaz is there, clears it into the Bournemouth half. Christie immediately returns it forward to Tavernier. Good run made by Christie. Edison's alert though, edge of his box, and then he backpedals because there's enough on the ball to allow him to retreat into his penalty. Tries to sling it out underarm. Christie sticks out a leg and blocks it. It spins up in the air and Edison catches it again. Bit more on the rebound there. It could have ended up in the back of the net.
Well, that could have been one of those real embarrassing moments for Edison, couldn't it? We spoke about how his incredible distribution is with his feet, but trying to throw that one out with Christie right in front of him, nearly backfired on him in a big way.
Edison looks for the longer ball towards Haaland. Bournemouth have dealt with it, played downfield. Ake under pressure from Semenyo. Ake back to Edison. Clears first time, not messing around this time. Headed forward by Zabarnyi. Christie gets his header wrong. Foden lets the ball run across to Bernardo Silva. He's in the centre circle here. Spins on a sixpence. Clever feed again. Keeps the ball away from Christie's challenge, and Akanji comes bombing down the right-hand side. Kirkes gets a foot in, but the ball only runs to Silva. Silva again does a little pirouette on the ball. Plays it to Akanji. Slides a pass to Foden. Opens his body up and tries to force one through to Haaland. Bournemouth clear to the halfway line, and Ake plays across to Kovacic on the left. Lively start to the game, good atmosphere inside the stadium, and the ball is being zipped around by both teams. Núñez back to Rodri, forward to Foden in central midfield. Zabarnyi breathing down his neck, but Foden releases those shackles, runs away from him, and the ball now with Bernardo Silva over on the right-hand touchline. Haaland starts to make a run beyond the centre-backs. Silva plays it back.
Do you know what, Ali? Just looking at the way Bernardo Silva receives the ball under pressure and how he turns and keeps possession, I think he would keep a ball off me within a telephone box if we were trying to win the ball off him. He's that skillful. Right,
Manchester City's bench not particularly happy with an Adam Smith challenge here on Matheus Núñez. Now this is right underneath our noses, very close to the pitch here in our commentary position. Looked like Adam Smith got the ball. He came through forcefully, jumped in, went in hard. Núñez is down hurt, and it seems like his shins were caught. Sort of right foot clips the shins, left foot gets the ball. It's an aggressive challenge, Franny. I mean, you know, you'd have made a couple of those back in the day, wouldn't you?
You would say it was almost a little bit of an old-fashioned reducer, isn't it, Ali? but having said that, you know, like the modern game now is any time a player lunges in a little bit like that, they're running the risk of a yellow, if not a red card. He does catch Núñez. There's some sort of contact, but he did win the ball as well. But very certainly a hefty challenge. Certainly letting him know that he's not going to be in for a quiet afternoon.
Yeah. Making a statement with the challenge, Adam Smith. Matheus Núñez. Manager Pep Guardiola just had a quick word with him to check he was okay. He's picked himself up, and Manchester City get their free kick. No doubt about the free kick. No booking for Adam Smith, who's getting physical again with Núñez. Núñez is trying to hold him off. Núñez looks rattled. He's now fouled Semenyo as Bournemouth bring the ball away, and someone needs to get in his ear and just try and calm Matheus Núñez down. We're coming up to 15 minutes played. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 0. And actually, from Adam Smith's point of view, that's had exactly the effect that he wanted.
You know, I played the game in a certain way, Ali, and that would have been similar to that, you know, and it comes back to what I was saying pre-match, like how Bournemouth have got to try and fire the crowd up a little bit, show respect to Manchester City and the team, of course, but not be fearful of them, and they've got to get in and amongst them at any opportunity they can. I'm not saying they've got to go and kick players, but they've got to put them under intense pressure to enable them to get some kind of possession to hopefully sustain and build attacks themselves.
Free kick for Bournemouth just inside their own half. Neto lofts it forward. Edison comes out, drops it, but is able to grab it on the first bounce, and no danger for Manchester City there. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 0. You're listening to it on Radio 5 Sports Extra. Haaland, little cushioned layoff looking for Foden on the halfway line. Cook clears for Bournemouth. Solanke jumps, nods it forward, but Diaz is there for City to cover that and play it back to his goalkeeper Edison. In terms of our football coverage tomorrow in the Premier League, we've got full commentary of Wolves against Sheffield United, which kicks off at 1:30. The first half of that will be on 5 Live. It'll then switch to Sports Extra because we're live at Wembley tomorrow. Alan Shearer part of the commentary team for the League Cup final. Chelsea against Liverpool kicks off at 3. Edison's clearance forward. Lovely touch from Nunes, tries to get away from Smith. Smith just about holds him off, plays up the line to Kluivert. Takes a risk there, Kluivert, with his first touch, and loses it to Stones. Kovacic wide to Nunes, back to Ake. Ake's got to just turn and run back into his own half to collect that pass. Cross to Stones. Stones looks for a nice little 1-2 with Rodri. Not enough on the ball to Foden. Foden under pressure. Zabani makes the tackle. Manchester City get it back, and Haaland is immediately onto it, edge of the box. Sees Nunes in space on the left-hand side. Nunes is cut back. Ball into the Bournemouth area. Bournemouth get enough bodies around it, and Christie is able to clear for now as Akanji is onto that clearance. Low pass from him finds Kovacic in a central position about 35 yards out. Plays back to Stones. Stones is forced away from goal. He gives it to Ake. Ake runs forward. Foden's first touch just flicks the ball up in the air. He waits for it to come down, lays it off to Kovacic. Back it comes to Diaz, and the passing as ever in the movement is it's a joy to behold.
Oh, it's wonderful to watch, isn't it? And it was such a build-up by City in that last one. John Stones being the overload through the park.
Nunes ball with the outside of the right foot, that's clever. Foden hooks the ball across goal, it's behind Haaland, headed away by Kirkes. Christie's got to be sure with that first touch, runs back into his own penalty area and does very well. Somebody saw Phil Foden in front of him, but was able to keep it, plays it back to Smith, and Smith launches a long ball down the right-hand touchline. Good race between Ake and Semenyo. Ball comes off Ake, throw in for Bournemouth, taken quickly. Semenyo into the feet of Solanke, tries to turn Diaz, and Diaz has accidentally flicked him in the eye there as Solanke turned into him. That's why he's down. Not a foul, just an accidental contact with hand to face. Solanke's okay, and Manchester City continue to play. 18 minutes in, Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 0. Here on Radio 5 Sports Extra. Scotland, England in the Six Nations continues over on 5 Live. Ireland made it 3 wins out of 3 for them today. They beat Wales by 31 points to 7. And tomorrow, France-Italy kicks off at 3. Commentary on that one will start online. Once Wolves-Sheffield United has finished, then commentary moves to Sports Extra. Referee Jared Gillett has come over to have a word with the 4th official, Simon Hooper, here. He's now jogging back out onto the field. I can see Andoni Iraola in conversation with Simon Hooper as well. Was there a card shown there, Franny? Yeah, the referee showed a yellow card to one of the Bournemouth staff off the bench, so obviously the attention from the 4th official has brought the referee over to issue that card for whatever's gone on the touchline, I would imagine. Right, that means we've got to fire up the Premier League app as Foden shoots low and Neto falls to his left and makes the save down by his left-hand post. Just a few minutes ago, Ali, there was that bit of play where Bournemouth did so well. Christie doing so well in his own 18-yard box, great composure, playing out, and then Semenyo just putting Ake under pressure with the quick throw-in into Solanke, but coming to nothing. But that's the kind of pace that they need to try and generate to put City under more pressure. Pablo de la Torre is the name of the fellow who got booked, and that's where that Premier League app is very, very useful. Nice work. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 0. Franny Benali with us for commentary here at the Vitality Stadium. Ake plays the ball back to Ederson. Ederson out to Akanji. He's closed down quickly by Tavernier. Kills a pass down the right. Kirkes thought he'd won that, but he knocked the ball into Rodri. It's fallen nicely for Manchester City. Nunes screaming for it on the left. Bernardo Silva running straight down the middle of the pitch, looking to release Haaland. Finds Haaland, but he can't get it past Senesi. The Argentine wins that particular battle, and now Tavernier tries to bring it away down the left, runs into Akanji, and Bournemouth get the throw. So Haaland's had a couple of looks, one clear side of goal with a right-footed shot that went wide. A couple of times they've just tried to play him in, and Bournemouth have managed to deal with him. Yeah, it looked dangerous, didn't it, with Bernardo Silva driving at the Bournemouth defence, and Haaland just waiting for that slide pass to come in, and Senesi, you've got to say, just timing, very neat piece of defending, just timing his challenge perfectly in the box and seeing the danger off on this occasion. Neto's got the ball at his feet in front of the Steve Fletcher stand, away to our left here at the Vitality Stadium. Neto dummies to clear long. Foden was about to back off. Now Foden closes in, and Neto then does play it up to the halfway line. Semenyo wins a really good header. Solanke can't quite control it. Ake to Nunes. He's caught again, this time by Solanke. He's down hurt again. Manchester City get the free kick. Seems to be something Bournemouth have worked on, I think, Ali, is that, literally right from the kick-off, they played, it looked like they were shaping up to go one side of the pitch, but they played it out to Semenyo,
and almost like saying, well, let's see how you do with a challenge with Nathan Ake. And the amount of kicks coming from the goalkeeper as well, from Neto, all seem to be coming towards Semenyo as well. So they obviously feel that they can get some joy down this right-hand side in the air.
Played just over 20 minutes in the first half. Manchester City looking for the win that will take them to within a point of Liverpool at the top of the Premier League table. Manchester City are away to Liverpool on Sunday the 10th of March. It'll be a Sunday afternoon commentary here on 5 Live. FA Cup action, of course, starts on Monday night. Full commentary of Coventry Maidstone. Games Tuesday and Wednesday as well. Long ball over the top for Solanke to chase. He's not going to get anywhere near that, and Ederson is able to just watch that drift behind for a goal kick to Manchester City. So 22 minutes in, Pep Guardiola is animated down beneath us, but that is normally the case. He was giving it the proper exasperated look when it was 0-0 against Brentford on Tuesday night. Doesn't look particularly happy, pointing now to the left, almost as if to say to Ederson, let's fire this one out here to Mateus Nunes. Iraola's out to do his own little bit of coaching, and then Ederson goes straight down the middle of the pitch, and Haaland's proving a real handful for Senesi. Senesi leans over him, heads it away. Bournemouth onto it here, and they've got Manchester City on the back foot for once in this first half. Semenyo running at Ake, brings it in field, almost got it through to Kluivert. Good defending from Stones, stretches and is able to stab the ball away for Manchester City. And Kovacic has got a lot of space to work with on the left-hand side, crosses the halfway line. Nunes has stayed wide on the left for City. Kovacic continues his run ahead of him. Nunes has slowed it down for a second. Ake is up in support, gets it from Nunes, always looking to Foden here to try and make the magic happen around the edge of the penalty area, and Foden just languidly strokes a pass back to Stones, forward to Rodri, laid off to Kovacic. Haaland makes the run. Kovacic scoop pass into Haaland, holds off Senesi, shoots, Neto saves, and Foden pokes in the rebound, and Manchester City have the lead at the Vitality Stadium. Brilliant centre-forward play from Haaland to hold off Senesi, to get a shot on goal, and Foden following in, sticks it into an empty net. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1.
Oh, it's a fabulous goal for City, and you touched on it there, Ali. The play from Erling Haaland was just outstanding. The ball into him, you say there's not too much danger. He makes a little diagonal run across Senesi, but then he uses his full frame and his strength just to step across him and let the ball run for a split second. That enables him to then get shot away. But full points to Phil Foden. He's the one not standing, admiring, waiting for Haaland to get his shot away. He follows it in, and he gets rewarded with just a tap in into an empty net.
Tell you what, Franny, 16 goals already this season for Phil Foden. I mean, I know we talk about the goal scoring of Erling Haaland, and that is his job. That is a really good return so far, isn't it, from Foden?
Incredible return. And, you know, he's not just a creative asset to City, he's now adding goals to his game as well, which is outstanding.
Scotland 24, England 13 is the latest score I can see on the BBC Sport website. Commentary of the Six Nations action continues over on 5 Live. This is Sports Extra. Manchester City lead, and as things stand, they're going within a point of Liverpool at the top of the table, looking for a second. Oh, Bernardo Silva's overhit the pass. Haaland can't get on the end of that. Neto out to the edge of the box is able to just bend down and pick the ball up. So Bournemouth 0, City 1, Arsenal Newcastle kicking off at 8 o'clock this evening, and that will put the pressure on Arsenal as well, because they started the day on 55 points, a point behind City, so they'll be 4 points behind them. But with the home game against Newcastle to come tonight, updates of that one into 6:06. Match of the day tonight, 10:20, BBC One.
I'm actually pinching myself, Ali, because we've witnessed Bernardo Silva misplace a pass in a game. Look, I never thought I'd see it.
I know. It's very rare, isn't it? It's a collector's item.
Certainly is.
Neto's ball out to the left is over the head of Tavernier. He felt he was fouled as he jumped for the ball, but he doesn't get the decision, and Manchester City get the throw on the right. So the challenge becomes ever harder for Bournemouth against a team they've never beaten in a competitive game. They trail Manchester City by 1-0. Haaland's won City another throw. That's another collector's item. You don't often see Haaland taking a throw. He thought about it, and then he decided against it and thumps the ball down onto the turf into the arms of Akanji. And City very much in control of this game at the moment. Ake forward to Foden. Foden in sizzling form for City right now. Silva to Stones. Silva just outside Bournemouth's penalty area on the right. Little ball to Stones, looking for the cutback. Here it comes, Haaland in the middle, doesn't reach, and Rodri hits a first-time shot, edge of the box, falls to Silva, curling ball just wide of the right-hand post, and behind it goes for a goal kick. Bournemouth's goal under pressure.
It certainly is, Ali, and Bournemouth have got to stay in the game. They've got to somehow find a way of just stopping this threat, this wave after wave that Manchester City seem to throw at teams. It just grinds sides down, doesn't it? You know, they've got their lead that they were looking for. Bournemouth have just got to stay focused, stay concentrated in the match and not make any mistakes to go 2 down, because if they do, you'd have to say that it would be a very long game for them.
Bournemouth in the black and red striped shirts, white numbers on their backs, playing from left to right in this first half. Ball from Zabarnyi towards Semenyo, the Ghanaian, wide on the right for Bournemouth. Into midfield it goes. Brilliant first touch from Christie, because Bernardo Silva was onto him if the ball had run away from him, but Christie was sure-footed there, and it's out to the left to Kirkes. Back to Christie again, who's having a really good season in this Bournemouth midfield, and talking about how much Foden's form will please England fans, or Christie's form will certainly delight Scotland fans ahead of the Euros this summer. Zabarnyi forward to Christie, again under pressure, but has the skills to manoeuvre himself out of a tight spot, gets away from Rodri, played back and across to Lewis Cook, his midfield partner. Cook's ball down the channel, Solanke onto it, Stones clearance ran to Solanke. Solanke felt he was tripped by Ake, and Jarrod Gillett agrees. Free kick for Bournemouth, about 35 yards out in the inside right channel, a chance for them to try and put a decent ball into Manchester City's penalty area. Yeah,
this will be an opportunity for Bournemouth to, they'll see it as something that they can try and maximise. But just from Bournemouth's perspective, I think they just need to try and find the quality up to Solanke that little bit better. There's been a few passes that have just either gone astray, or the quality hasn't been that great on the last crucial moment. And he needs a bit more quality coming into him. I know it's difficult against this City side, but this will be an interesting one when we see it swung in, I'm sure.
So 28 minutes played in the first half. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1. Phil Foden giving Manchester City the lead in the 24th minute of this game. Foden stands as a one-man wall with his hands behind his back. I wonder whether Lewis Cook is thinking about even trying to sneak one in at the near post here, because Ederson is away to the right of his goal and there's no wall protecting it either. Deep breath from Cook, curling ball to the far post. Ederson comes, throws himself at it, double-fisted punch, flying dive from the keeper. Foden smashes the ball into the body of Cook, and out it goes for a throw into Manchester City in the left-back position.
Brave goalkeeping from Ederson, I'd say. He had a line of players coming at him, not only his defenders but the attackers as well, and it was a good punch, as you say, clearing the danger, seeing that one off, because it was a good ball into the box from the free kick.
Just having a look on our monitor at a replay of the Manchester City goal, and as Franny was saying, that the run from Haaland to take Senesi sort of tries to stoop and beat him to the ball and doesn't get anything on it, and Haaland's too strong and then holds him off, and all Neto can do from the Haaland shot, all Haaland had to do there actually, Franny, get the shot on target, and if it doesn't go in, hopefully get the rebound. It's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be surprised to see him score himself in that kind of position, would you? But credit to Phil Foden for following the ball up. That's what you need from your teammates. You've got to almost be pessimistic, thinking that Haaland is going to miss or there is going to be a rebound, and he got his rewards.
So coming up to the half hour here, Ederson just walking around, strolling about his penalty area, ball at his feet. Kluivert comes dashing towards him, and Ederson just bends down, picks it up and bowls it past him and plays it to Stones to Kovacic back to Ake in the left back position, chased by Semenyo, makes a challenge on him. Ederson, that's not the best clearance, but Bernardo Silva's able to flick a header forward into the Bournemouth half, only as far as Senesi. Good run being made by Lewis Cook on the right. Senesi's trying to curl the ball out there. Ake backpedals and heads it to Kovacic. He's inside his own half, and Kovacic passes to Ake, who feeds one back to Rodri. Rodri rolls it back to Ederson, and Ederson just strokes a pass beyond Ryan Christie inside his own 6-yard box. Rodri's tackled by Christie, edge of the area. Foden releases Bernardo Silva, pass just beyond him, cleared downfield heftily by Senesi, and the ball bounces harmlessly into the Manchester City penalty area. Half an hour played, Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1. Franny Benali.
Yeah, and the game's gone, I guess, in many ways as we would have expected. City just settling into their rhythm now, and having taken the lead as well, very much in control of the game, as you've mentioned, Ali. But I'm still looking for Bournemouth to do something just to disrupt City a little bit more. They're pressing, they're trying to win the ball back, but they've got to do something a bit more with some challenges and maybe just be a bit more direct at times with the quality up front for Solanke, maybe Semenyo, Tavernier, and Kluivert just playing in that hole a little bit. They've got to try and get more of the ball.
BBC Sport website telling me Scotland lead England 24-16 in the Calcutta Cup. Second half commentary continues over on 5 Live. Rugby highlights. Games on BBC One as well this afternoon, actually. So you could actually watch your rugby, maybe have the sound down and listen to us. That could be the way to go. Your Rugby Union highlights, your Six Nations highlights. Rugby special tomorrow, BBC 2 at 6 o'clock. Also tomorrow night on BBC 3, 8:30. NBA action, the Phoenix Suns against the LA Lakers. If that's your bag, that's available on the BBC. Bernardo Silva's ball to the right, doesn't reach Akanji. Kirkes slides in and knocks it out of play for a throw into Manchester City. Low skiddy throw from Bernardo Silva. He wanted to get that ball to Rodri as quick as he could. Rodri, lofted pass out to the left to Nunez, who almost slips over the ball as he traps it. Back to Ake, into the feet of Silva, laid off to Rodri. Really had to stretch to control the pass. Foden under pressure, but he doesn't mind that. Just runs away from the challenge. Laid off to Ruben Dias. Dias to Akanji. Forward to Stones. Back to Akanji.
Sorry, Ali, I was just going to say there's so much rotation from the City players.
Foden on the turn. Onto the ball for City, edge of the area. Danger for Bournemouth. Matheus Nunes receives it. Foden makes the run on the outside. That wasn't the best pass from Nunes, and still Foden was able to deal with it. He lifted a right foot, let the ball go underneath him, controlled it with his left. Now Nunes in a tight spot wide on the left, but he's got the skills to get out of trouble. Played back to Kovacic. Ake just inside the Bournemouth half. Semenyo blocks his pass, throwing Manchester City. Sorry, Franny.
Yeah, no, I was going to say sorry. It was it's just the way that City play. They've got Kovacic who'll rotate with Rodri. They've got Foden and Bernardo who'll rotate and switch positions. But they also have John Stones running through into the centre of the pitch and also taking up different positions. So it makes it so hard for the Bournemouth midfielders and defenders who to pick up and where to go and engage them.
Little chip ball looking for Haaland from Foden. Cleared by Bournemouth. Here's Tavernier just inside his own half. Middle of the pitch, curling a pass out towards Kirkes, but too much on it. And it goes out for a throw-in to Manchester City.
That's where Bournemouth need to be better. When they do get possession of the ball, they've got to make sure that they retain possession. Just get a few passes in. Somehow, they can't afford for City to be controlling the game so much with the possession side, because they'll just keep it all night long. They've got to keep it better.
Kovacic running out of his own half with the ball. Solanke chases back, makes the challenge. Both of them fall over, both of them get up. Kovacic is down again, and Solanke, having got up, then falls over and seems in some pain. So Bournemouth will definitely be worried about that. I think Manchester City are going to get the free kick for the Solanke second challenge on Kovacic, but the worry is that Solanke's down hurt.
Yeah, he almost felt his knee straight away, and he's holding it still now. He's rubbing it whilst he's lying on the floor, and it was in that challenge with Kovacic, as you say, Ali, and probably they've won the free kick, but I didn't think there was a huge amount on it. I think he may have sort of damaged it when he stood up, got to his feet, and he tried stepping across Kovacic, but there seemed to be some kind of contact. But he's back on his feet, but certainly not moving too well at the moment.
Moving very awkwardly indeed. It's almost a sort of, if you asked a young kid to sort of act a limp and they would put on a ridiculous hobble, that's what Solanke's moving around like at the moment. Kovacic is immediately under pressure from the City free kick, and then Semenyo is on top of Ake, and Ake manages to get the ball back to Ederson. 10 minutes remaining in the first half. At half time, if you want, you can obviously switch back to 5 Live and get the closing stages of Scotland against England in the Calcutta Cup. Meanwhile, here on Sports Extra, we'll bring you a roundup of what's gone on in the rest of the day's football, including Fulham's famous win at Old Trafford. Iwobi's late goal. Manchester United 1, Fulham 2. And you can have your say on 606 tonight with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage on the nation's favourite football phone-in. We'll also have updates of Arsenal-Newcastle during 606. Bournemouth confidently playing the ball around inside their own half. Christie back to his goalkeeper Neto up the middle of the pitch to Lewis Cook. Cook lays it off to the 21-year-old Ukrainian centre-back Zabarny to Adam Smith, back to Cook, launches one downfield, Kluivert chases, couldn't control it, Stones heads the bouncing ball away, Ake does well, just cushions a little header down to himself and gives it to Rodri. Rodri holds off Kluivert, who was trying to come around the side of him and make a challenge, and Rodri wasn't falling for that one. Pass out to the right to Akanji, back to Rodri, and Rodri goes back again to Ruben Dias. Dias to fellow Portuguese Bernardo Silva. Our lovely light blue skies have disappeared now. Just gone past 6 o'clock here on the south coast. So dark skies above. Bournemouth trailing Manchester City by a goal to nil. And enjoying the lion's share of possession. Kovacic shoved to the floor by Lewis Cook, who's fed up of watching Manchester City pass the ball around, so he steps in and knocks Kovacic over.
Yeah, certainly a free kick, wasn't it? And so much of Manchester City's play goes through the centre of the pitch. If you drew lines, like split the pitch up in a length direction, the ball comes through almost like that centre circle width of the pitch. Players moving into positions, they try to suck defenders and players out of position to then make a killer pass in behind or try and find someone like Haaland, and it's just good play. Bournemouth have got to not get complacent.
Great run made by John Stones down the right. Lewis Cook has bumped him over. That was very close to the penalty area as well. Lewis Cook's going to get booked. I think it was just outside the box. Stones made a great run forward. Bernardo Silva spotted him. Lewis Cook is saying that's accidental, it was just a collision. We'll have another look on the monitor now, but Stones was in behind the back four. There's not too much that Cook's done right. I suppose he's put a hand around his neck, and then Stones is sort of off balance anyway, Franny.
Yeah, I think it's a bit harsh, to be honest, on Cook. You know, he can't do an awful lot else there. He's trying to retrieve and run back for the ball. Stones actually makes a movement across him, which I think makes it look like the foul has been given, and the assistant referee on the touchline there felt it was a foul, and the referee's blown up. So yeah, some defending to do for Bournemouth.
Phil Foden cups his hand in front of his face to talk to Mateus Nunes, so no one can have any idea what they're saying. Foden is then trying to shout at Nunes through his hand. I'm not sure Nunes can hear him from there because they both moved about 6 or 7 yards apart. Let's hope they've got the communication right. Free kick right on the edge of the Bournemouth box. There goes the whistle. Nunes runs over it. Foden takes it, and there's too much on that. Curls it beyond the far post and gets a massive cheer from the Bournemouth fans as it goes behind for a goal kick. We've got about 6.5 minutes plus added time remaining at the end of the first half. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1. Phil Foden the goal scorer.
Yeah, important for Bournemouth not to get despondent or frustrated in this game. They've just got to, at the very least, go down the tunnel at half-time, just being that one goal behind. Still very much in the game, albeit City have been very dominant so far.
Just keeping an eye on Solanke as well, Franny, to see how he's moving there. He jumped for a ball with... He looks okay, doesn't he?
Yeah, he seems to be moving much better now, doesn't he? But that certainly would have been a worry from Bournemouth's perspective when he went down like that. 14
Premier League goals so far this season. Bournemouth's record in the Premier League was Josh King back in 2016-17 with 16. And there's only 2 men this season who've scored more Premier League goals than Solanke so far, and they go by the names of Erling Haaland and Mo Salah. Oh, look at the moon over there as well, just hiding behind the floodlight pile. It's absolutely stunning this evening, low in the sky, just like a big glowing light bulb. Beautiful. Smith heads the ball away, gives Nunes a little shove as he does so. Smith and Nunes, bit of physical stuff going on there. Foden takes it off Smith and was nearly through on goal for Manchester City. Bournemouth have cleared. Kluivert, ball at his feet, comes zipping forward. Tavernier in support on the left. Still Kluivert. Rolls a slow pass here to Tavernier, but Kirkes makes a supporting run on the outside. Tavernier sees him, gets it back. Oh no, loose pass. Christie couldn't control that. And now Manchester City on the counter. Phil Foden on the ball, lays it off to Nunes. Bernardo Silva in acres of space on the right here. Bournemouth in real danger of being cut apart, having given the ball away. Silva onto his left foot, clever little back heel. Smith reads it, knocks the ball behind for a Manchester City corner. Franny Benali.
Sure, I've got to say it was a mistake, I think, by Tavernier, wasn't it, with the ball? I know it's not his position, but I couldn't help but just watch him after he played that pass. He's almost just jogged back alley. You know, if I was a teammate out there, I'd be saying, at least get yourself back in and try and help us out with an extra body, you know. So that could have easier led to a goal, and they've still got some defending to do from this corner.
5 minutes remaining in the first half. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1. Scotland 27, England 16 at Murrayfield. Scotland lead by 11 points. Commentary continues over on 5 Live. Corner for Manchester City underneath the big screen's Bernardo Silva. I think he scuffed that. The ball is clipped on into the Bournemouth penalty area, then volleyed away. Núñez on his own for Manchester City with 2 Bournemouth players behind him, and eventually loses it, and out it goes for a throw into Bournemouth. Núñez can't believe it was out of position there. Bournemouth take the throw. Tavernier's another loose pass from Tavernier, played behind Christie. This time Tavernier goes chasing to try and win the ball back. Rodri just bounces off him. Rodri with Haaland running ahead of him. Another challenge from Tavernier, knocks Rodri over. Free kick for Manchester City, 25 yards out, and Marcus Tavernier is having a bad 5 minutes.
Yeah, he's got to just gather his head and his thoughts again, hasn't he? I've got to say I felt it was a Manchester City throw-in. I didn't quite see how Bournemouth did it, but they took it quick, they got on with it. But then just coming back to this thing about they've got to keep the ball. Tavernier giving the pass away again, and now he's conceded the free kick as well. Just putting Bournemouth under constant pressure time and time again.
Right, let's see what they can do with the free kick. Kevin De Bruyne sitting on the bench. Someone you would think might like to strike one from here. Matheus Núñez has got himself a bit wound up this afternoon. He might fancy a dip for Manchester City. Phil Foden is the other option. He's standing much closer to the ball. Or are they going to try and work something clever? The lovely one they scored against Burnley a couple of weeks ago, where I think it was De Bruyne just rolled it past the wall into the path of Alvarez, who'd run in behind the wall and then hit the shot and buried it in the bottom corner. Foden leaves it. Núñez instead strokes this one to the right. Bernardo Silva is out there. Kerkez closes the space down. Back to Núñez, swinging cross into the far post. Stones heads it back across goal, looking for Haaland. Bournemouth managed to volley the ball away. A couple of minutes remaining at the end of this first half. Kovacic. The pass is beyond Foden. Foden lets it run for Núñez. Núñez is chased by Kluivert. Kluivert sticks a foot out, doesn't get any contact on the ball, and here's Núñez wide on the left. Outside of his right foot finds John Stones. Stones gliding onto the ball for Manchester City. Lovely cut back from him to Rodri. Rodri curls a pass to Akanji. Akanji to Bernardo Silva, who's going to have a run at Kerkez here. Ducks inside onto his left foot, finds Foden. Foden back onto his right foot, hits the shot straight at Neto, and pats it down into the ground and picks it up at the second attempt.
Yeah, Neto won't mind if he's got to be making saves of that kind for the rest of the afternoon, but for a moment or two you just thought City were just clicking into gear, finding those spaces, finding that little pass that was important, and Foden just twisting and turning before he got his shot away. But it was from a comfortable distance for Neto on that occasion.
Phil Foden, the goal scorer in the 24th minute of this game. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1. He's scored in his last 5 games against Bournemouth, so Bournemouth fans absolutely sick of the sight of Phil Foden. Ake leaps to win a header, nods it forward. Kluivert gets the shout from the fans there because Foden was hurtling in, trying to nick the ball off him. It's back to Zabani, forward to Christie. Christie just chips a pass around the corner, controlled by Kerkez, and played back to Senesi inside the Bournemouth half. Christie, nice little flick pass, releases Tavernier. Flag stays down for now. Tavernier's ball into the Manchester City penalty area. Ederson knew exactly where that was going, and on the front foot comes out and grabs it on the first bounce. Rolls it out here to Kovacic. Back it comes to Diaz. He's able to simply play it forward to Kovacic again. Easily runs away from Ryan Christie, and he's suddenly gobbled up 20 yards and then plays a searching pass left to Núñez. Bournemouth fans all around the ground, out of their seats and heading for the T-bars, the refreshments at half-time. Manchester City intent on getting themselves a second goal. Bernardo Silva up to the edge of the Bournemouth box, finds John Stones. Stones onto his right foot, thought about the shot. Plays a pass to his right to Akanji. Stones is the man available again. Little first-time ball to Foden. Nearly caught by Solanke. Pass back to Diaz, and it's gone out to Akanji on the right. Come on, Bournemouth. Rings around the Vitality Stadium. Important few minutes for Bournemouth here to stay in this game and not concede a second goal. Stones to Silva. Back to Stones inside the penalty area. Floated cross, looking for Haaland just over his head. Smith glances a header away. Núñez is there first for Manchester City, just inside the Bournemouth box on the left. Another far post cross. Bernardo Silva jumps to try and win a header, and Bournemouth again are able to scramble the ball away, but it's coming back at them fast. Akanji to Bernardo Silva, clever feet again, cross comes in, this time to the near post. Senesi with a diving header away, and Akanji just volleys a pass back to Diaz. But Bournemouth really under pressure at the end of this first half.
They certainly are, and we're into the 3 minutes of added time now, and Bournemouth just keeping their shape really well, but defending well as well. But they've got to at this moment in time.
3 minutes of added time, and we played almost a minute of it here on Radio 5 Sports Extra. Scotland have stretched their lead at Murrayfield, 30 points to 16. I think they're looking for a 4th successive win against England, and actually they'll argue should have beaten France last week as well. They felt a big call went against them late on in that game against France. Could have potentially been 3 wins out of 3 for Scotland, but they are leading England 30-16. Commentary continues over on 5 Live. This is Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1. Semenyo, good chest control, gets away from Ake. Ake's brought him down there, down by the byline. Assistant referee says no, that Semenyo's just lost his footing and fallen to the ground. Ake brings it away. Nunes wasn't watching the ball there. Good from Kluivert, and here he is, wide on the right. Late attacking chance for Bournemouth in the first half. Opens up on the left. Here's Kirkes. Bournemouth fans getting excited. Kirkes cross, deflected behind, corner for Bournemouth.
Much better from Bournemouth. That I'd have to agree with. Against the home fans, I must admit, Ali, they thought there was something in the challenge on Semenyo, but I felt he did lose his balance just as momentum took him to the ground. But still some positive play after that. It was something. It was a good break into the box, getting past Nathan Ake on this right-hand side for Bournemouth.
I think the reason he lost his foot, he was working so hard to sort of run that angle on that curve, wasn't he, to get around Ake. Ake just stood his ground. I think you're right, Franny. Here's the corner anyway for Bournemouth. What can they do with this? An away swinger, glancing header away, drops to the edge of the box. Lewis Cook drives it back in. Ake is there to block it. Foden chases it out. Cook just beats him to the ball. In the closing seconds here of the first half at the Vitality Stadium, Manchester City leading Bournemouth by a goal to nil, and Neto plays a 1-2 with Kirkes and receives it again on the edge of his own penalty area. Iraola howling instructions across the pitch. Semenyo trying to get away from Ake again. Semenyo on the ball into Solanke. Solanke's layoff to Christie, and Edison gets down and saves. The rebound comes here to Solanke. He's onside. No, he's not. The flag is up now. He laid it back to Adam Smith. I think that's going to be the last action of the first half, and right at the end of that first half, Bournemouth just showing a bit of attacking threat. The half-time whistle blows. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1. What did you make of it, Franny Benali?
Well, they will take a lot of heart from that, because it was, again, talking about earlier, that diagonal ball up to Semenyo against Ake in the air, then fighting for the knockdowns a little bit. They picked up the ball, worked it into Solanke, and then the shot going in, troubling Edison there. Certainly, I think Solanke was in an offside position, haven't seen the monitor after the replay, but much better from Bournemouth. They need to do more of that in the second half.
And for those who tuned in a little late possibly, Franny, and didn't hear the goal, just talk us through the Manchester City goal again.
Yeah, it was a wonderful bit of play, and City just doing what they do. It was a ball up to Haaland. He made a little diagonal run across Senesi in the 18-yard box. He just waited a split second and then checked and stood back across into Senesi. So using his frame, using his strength, that enabled him to get the shot in on goal. Neto made the save, but Phil Foden, not standing and admiring the football that City were playing, followed the shot in, and he had a little simple tap in into the back of the net, which gave City the lead.
16th goal of the season for Phil Foden, 9 of those in the Premier League. If Manchester City get the win, they will be a point behind Liverpool, having played exactly the same number of games, and Arsenal will start tonight 4 points behind Manchester City and 5 behind Liverpool. They're at home to Newcastle, and there'll be updates of that game into 6:06, which is going to follow the commentary here. Now, if you want to hear the end of the Calcutta Cup in the Six Nations, it's over on 5 Live. Less than 15 minutes to go. England have just got to try back, which makes it interesting. Scotland lead 30 points to 21. Here on Sports Extra now, we've got reaction to today's Premier League action, including Fulham's first win at Old Trafford since 2003. Here's Mark Chapman.
So in the Premier League today, no early game. All of these were at 3 o'clock. Aston Villa 4, Nottingham Forest 2, Brighton 1, Everton 1, Palace 3, Burnley 0, Manchester United 1, Fulham 2. A late winner at Old Trafford for Marco Silva's side. So the table as it stands, Liverpool have 60, Manchester City 56, Arsenal 55, Villa now have 52 and are 5 clear of Tottenham, who are on 47, Manchester United on 44, but they played a game more than Spurs. Brighton have 39, Newcastle 37, West Ham 36, Chelsea 35 and Wolves 35. They've all played just 25. Fulham have 32 from 26. Bournemouth 28 from 24. Palace, thanks to that win over Burnley, have 28 from 26. Brentford 25 from 25. Forest have 24 and Everton have 21. They both played 26. Luton 20 from 25. Burnley 13 from 26. And Sheffield United, who play Wolves tomorrow, have 13 from 25. Full commentary on tomorrow's 5 Live Sport, by the way, of the League Cup final, Chelsea against Liverpool. It is a 3 o'clock kick-off. Doing this little bit of 5 Live Sport live from the DW Stadium, where we have the World Club Challenge a little bit later on. It's an 8 o'clock kick-off. You can listen to it on Sports Extra. You can watch it on BBC Television. Dave Woods providing the commentary on Sports Extra alongside me. It is mouth-watering, this.
It is. I mean, the two best teams on the planet at the moment. It's only week 2 of the Super League, but I think Wigan are already showing that they are going to be the team to watch this year, having won the grand final last year. Penrith have won the last 3 NRL grand finals, which tells you how good they are, of course. But they did, of course, lose to St Helens on home turf last year in this very game. So I think their ambitions are raised a little. Full house here tonight, sold out about 4 or 5 weeks ago. It's going to be epic, I think. And
you sense, don't you, very quickly, that the defeat to St Helens last year is not going to necessarily help Wigan this year, because they will be seriously motivated, or Penrith.
Absolutely. I think Penrith were very heavy favourites last year. St Helens beat them with a golden point, extra time drop goal, so that tells you how epic that was. But Wigan, I just fancy Wigan here tonight, but a lot of people much wiser than me are tipping Penrith.
Last year's game down under was delayed for 50 minutes as a warm front passed through the area. Guarantee it won't be the same here in Wigan tonight. 8 o'clock kick-off. Listen on Sports Extra. You can watch it on BBC Two. Late winner for Fulham this afternoon. They beat Manchester United 2-1. It came from Alex Iwobi.
Well, Alex, that's I think it's only the third Fulham win here ever in the history of the club. So how does that feel for everybody involved?
Yeah, crazy. I mean, there was a stat about we only won in like 21 something. I can't remember the stat. It was crazy. But to get a result against Man United at Old Trafford like this, and hopefully we can just kick on from here. So yeah, we'll take this as a world of confidence, take it to the next game against Brighton and see where we can go on the table.
What does it say about you that it looked as though 2 points had gone, but you managed to rally yourselves again and had not just the one that you put away, but another chance to score again?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the whole game we had a few opportunities. I feel like it was only a matter of time that one would go in. I mean, I had a couple in the first half. There was more in the first half as well. So always knew, even though we conceded a goal, that we'll still be able to create an opportunity, especially when you have a Dharma Traore, you can drive us off the pitch like he did. We always knew that we would have one more chance before the game ends.
You've played here a few times with other teams as well. Have you ever known a game here to be this open for the visiting team?
Maybe not so, but at the same time, like the gaffer gave us instructions and we were brave. We stuck to the game plan and it worked. We were able to create opportunities. So yeah, I think it worked really well in our favour.
And tell us about the winning goal. You kept your cool nicely.
Yeah, I mean, I had 2 in the first half that I should have kept my composure a bit better, but I knew the players we have, they'll give me the ball and I'll be able to have one more chance. And when I said I'd go into the opportunity, I was going to keep my composure and make sure I hit the target this time, and I was able to do so and give the keeper the eyes. So yeah, it was a great finish, and hopefully I can add more to the season as well.
Alex Iwobi with Guy Mowbray after his winner at Old Trafford. Interesting scores in the Championship today. Ipswich beat Birmingham, so they've now gone within 6 points of leaders Leicester. Another defeat for Southampton, though. They were beaten at home by Millwall, with Neil Harris returning as Millwall's manager. So the top of the table, because West Brom and Hull drew 1-1 at Hull earlier. So Leicester have 78, Leeds 72. Leeds beat Leicester last night. Ipswich also have 72. Southampton 67. West Brom's 56 and Hull 55. They're the playoff places. At the bottom, massive win for QPR after they beat bottom club Rotherham. Also big wins for Sheffield Wednesday and Huddersfield. So Stoke drop into the bottom 3. Rotherham have 19, Sheffield Wednesday 32, Stoke have 35, QPR 35, Millwall 36 and Huddersfield 37. Let's go back to the Premier League. Aston Villa beating Nottingham Forest 4-2 this afternoon. Here's Unai Emery.
Very important. We reacted very well. More or less, we are feeling very comfortable here. We are feeling confident here. We are supported, and we are more or less deserving to win, and we played a really fantastic match in the first half, of course, and the second half, only the first maybe 15 minutes we were a little bit some doubts, but we again reacted and we took calm and we played in our style and playing personality the last 30 minutes, and I think we deserve this 3 points.
How pleased were you with Douglas Luiz getting 2 goals, to have a midfielder chipping in with a couple? It's very, very handy.
Yes, of course, very good. I'm very happy. The second half he was as well, because for us he's a key player, and sometimes we need him to be focused and to be successful on the pitch every time. And at the beginning of the second half, he lost 2 balls in the middle, and was a really difficult moment for us. And he reacted very well again. He reacted very well, and again he controlled the game, and he was the key player for us the last 30 minutes, like he did the first half.
You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra, Premier League football.
Quite a tough day for the teams at the top of League One. Portsmouth have a 7-point lead at the top. They've got a goalless draw at Charlton, so they have 73. Derby have 66. They were beaten at Barnsley, and Bolton were thrashed 4-1 at Blackpool. They also have 66. Barnsley up to 63. Peterborough won at Cambridge. They have 59. Oxford still in a playoff spot. They have 57, although they were beaten at home by Leyton Orient. Stevenage now just within a point of them after they beat Wickham. Carlisle stay bottom of the table after a 2-1 defeat at Bristol Rovers. They have just 20 points. Fleetwood are above them on 27. They got a point at Exeter today. Port Vale have 31 and Cheltenham 33. They are the bottom 4. Let's return to the Premier League. Henry Moran saw a draw between Brighton and Everton.
Yeah, Brighton won, Everton won. Everton so close to their first win since mid-December, and how valuable it would have been for the side in 17th. Jared Branthwaite's rocket of a shot, 15 minutes remaining, stunned the Amex. Brighton had been dominant, but they were staring at defeat, and that spectre loomed larger when Billy Gilmore was shown a straight red for going over the top of the ball and crashing into Onana. Definite red card. He can have no complaint. Surely Everton could see it out. Well, no. 4 minutes of added time gone. Lewis Dunk, 400th appearance for Brighton, leaping highest to level from a Pascal Gross cross. The wait goes on for Everton. Brighton will see this as a chance missed.
Mansfield are top of League 2 on goal difference. Remember, they put 9 past Harrogate a couple of weeks ago. Well, they put 5 past Salford today. They beat Salford by 5 goals to 1. They have 63 points, and they've got a game in hand on Stockport, who dropped to second, also on 63. Stockport held at home by Swindon. Crewe are in third. They have 61 points. They got a 3-1 win at Notts County. Wrexham, MK Dons, Barrow, who's game with Bradford, and Gillingham complete the playoff spots. Sutton and Forest Green Rovers continue to be the bottom 2, although Forest Green Rovers did get a win today at home to Tranmere. To John Southall next at Selhurst Park.
Still waiting for Oliver Glasner to come out, Mark. Let's hope this isn't a sign of things to come, but he's had the perfect start, hasn't he? I mean, it's been a great day for him. His side played with an energy, with an attacking intent. They were helped by the sending off. There's no two ways about that. Josh Brownhill shown a straight red card 10 minutes before half time. James Trafford in the goal didn't help him. His pass sold him really short. Pulled down Jefferson Lerma, threw on goal, and off he went. Palace made them pay. 11-minute period in the second half with goals from Richards, Ayew and a Mateta penalty. Burnley had a late goal disallowed from Fofana, but another damaging defeat for them. Just spoke to Vincent Kompany. Not really happy that Adam Wharton could have been shown a second yellow card, but he took the defeat on the chin. But there's no wins from 7 league games for them now. But what a significant day for Crystal Palace and their new manager. We wait to speak to him. A new start, a 3-0 win, and they're now 8 points off those relegation places.
Thank you very much. In Scotland, Rangers are 5 clear at the top. They put 5 past Hearts at Ibrox. Celtic in second play Motherwell tomorrow. Let's go back to Old Trafford. Here's Eric Ten Hag after Manchester United's 2-1 defeat to Fulham with Guy.
Well, Eric, tell us where the fault lay for the winning goal for Fulham today from your point of view.
It's a throw-in the corner. We have them under pressure, and there's one player in the wrong position. So as a team, we should manage that everyone is in the right position. And we have the experience is on the pitch, and then we let them escape, and that was avoidable.
How frustrating is that for you when your team had worked to get back into it?
I have to reward the team. They showed big character, had to fight back in this game, and they got the equaliser, and I think we very deserved in that moment the equaliser, we went for the win. So once again, this team showed big personality and character.
So there's the Manchester United boss, Erik ten Hag. This is Alistair Bruce Ball here at the Vitality Stadium. Mark Chapman and the team with the roundup of all the day's football action so far, all the Premier League goals in Match of the Day tonight, BBC One at 10:20, and all that reaction for you. Extended coverage in the Football Daily podcast, as always, available via the BBC Sounds app. Don't forget, tomorrow we've got Premier League commentary for you at 1:30. Wolves against Sheffield United. Commentary will start on 5 Live. It will then move to Sports Extra in the second half because it's League Cup final day. We're live at Wembley. Alan Shearer, part of the commentary team. That is Chelsea against Liverpool at 3 o'clock. And I'm imagining that lines will be open very shortly for 606 as well tonight. To get your calls in, to have your say on the day's football, the number to dial, as always, 08085 909 693. And at 8 o'clock tonight in the Premier League, Arsenal against Newcastle kicks off, so there will be updates of that into 606. We are waiting for the two teams here to come back out onto the field of play. I can see some of the Manchester City players gathering in the tunnel at half-time. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1. Franny Benali, former Southampton defender for many years, sitting alongside me. Franny, we're still talking as well, aren't we? I know Southampton lost today and Ipswich won, and they're involved in that tussle along with Leicester and Leeds and the rest of them in the battle for promotion from the Championship. But in terms of this game, professional job done so far by Manchester City.
Yeah, and we touched on just during the break, Ali, didn't we? That you know, reflecting on the first half, that there was just a few times that you certainly looked at City and felt that they could just step it up a gear when they wanted to. You know, sort of certainly, not saying they're going through the motions, they've done very well, but they can certainly click into that tempo that just shifts the pace from a steady, slow possession thing to all of a sudden a quick counter-attack or a quick movement, quick drive with the ball, and all of a sudden something transforms in a second. You still very much feel that that's in the City side, and you're just looking at the benches as well. I was trying to think what Bournemouth could do maybe just to tweak one or two things, but my eyes just got drawn to the City bench again. You know, there's just so much strength there to make changes. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see Guardiola do that at some point if the scoreline even stays at 1-0, but it would be great for the game if Bournemouth can get the next goal in this game to give them a chance and really give us a game of football.
Teams back out. Manchester City in change kit here this evening. White shirts, burgundy shorts, white socks. Erling Haaland just checking the laces on both boots, tied tightly and ready to go. Bournemouth, the home team, in the red and black vertical stripes, black shorts and the black socks with the red tops. So closing stages of the Calcutta Cup over on 5 Live. Scotland still leading England by 30 points to 21. Once they have wrapped that up, and I'm hearing that's a full-time scoreline, so Scotland have beaten England in the Six Nations. Ireland have beaten Wales today. Scotland have beaten England. All the reaction live now over on 5 Live. And our listeners over there will be joining us shortly for the second half of this one. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1, as it stands in that Premier League table. Liverpool on 60 points, having played 26 games, and Manchester City will be a point behind them, having played exactly the same number of games. Second half gets underway. Ederson with a long ball downfield, which lands on the left boot, the tightly tied left boot, of course, of Erling Haaland. Controls it back to Akanji, who's playing right back for Manchester City this evening. Foden gets onto the ball. Haaland runs away from him, and Foden thought he was actually going to run into the inside right channel, passed it into that space, and Bournemouth were able to clear, and it's out for a throw-in to Manchester City on the right. So let me remind you the two team lineups. Neto in goal for Bournemouth. Who's got a problem here? Ruben Dias has got a slight problem here, so the referee has stopped the game. Adam Smith, Ilya Zabarnyi, Marcos Senesi, Milos Kerkez, the back four. Ryan Christie and Lewis Cook in central midfield. Lewis Cook on the yellow card. Antoine Semenyo, Justin Kluivert and Marcus Tavernier as the three in behind centre forward Dominic Solanke. Ruben Dias has come across for a drink here. Now it's not just that, because he's taken something with the drink, swallowed a pill there and thumped his chest. I'm not quite sure what the problem was there, but the Bournemouth fans were thinking, well, hang on, let's get this game back underway. Manchester City have Ederson in goal, Akanji, Stones, Dias and Ake, Rodri, Kovacic, Mateus Nunes, Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden in support of Erling Haaland. 90 seconds gone in the second half. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1. Stones back to Ederson, well outside his penalty area. Fires it with his left foot. Ball goes spinning high into the night sky. Nunez is tackled, but Kovacic is there to pick up the ball for Manchester City. He overruns it. Lewis Cook gets a challenge in, falling as he plays the ball forward, but Kluivert gets onto it for Bournemouth, turns and then looks for a quick diagonal to Tavernier. The pass is deflected into the path of the young Hungarian Kerkez, and Bournemouth on the front foot early in the second half. Here is Tavernier, low pass to Solanke, difficult one for Solanke to do anything with, runs away from the Manchester City defenders, gets it back to Kerkez. Christie's ball forward past Tavernier, and Silva's able to clear for Manchester City. Lewis Cook is there, lobs a little ball to Senesi, and is that going to be offside? Flick round the corner to Solanke. Yeah, everyone knew it was offside, but of course the flag goes up late, and Dominic Solanke, he knew, he actually stopped playing effectively. Manchester City will get the free kick.
Yeah, there was just that pause, wasn't there, where the crowd almost just held their breath for a moment, thinking he was in an onside position. But yeah, just waiting for the official's flag to go up. Clearly Kerkez in an offside position. But promising start from Bournemouth, you know, after the break, just coming out, having a little bit more of a test of this City side, just asking a few more questions, just seeing if they can just find a way to find that breakthrough, just to get back on level terms.
Finished the first half strongly and have started the second half well, but they've still got to deal with this fella, the number 9, Erling Haaland for Manchester City. Loses out to Senesi. Tavernier plays the ball upfield. Kovacic intercepts. 5 Live will be with us shortly here, joining the coverage on Radio 5 Sports Extra. Foden on the turn up to the edge of the Bournemouth penalty area. Not the best pass from him. He goes back in to try and win a challenge on the edge of the box. Felt that he was fouled. Doesn't get the decision. Thank you, Chris. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1 here at the Vitality Stadium. We have a glorious, bright, glowing full moon shining in the night sky above us on the south coast, and Manchester City ahead. If they win the game, they'll be a point behind Liverpool at the top of the Premier League table tonight. They're in the white shirts, dark red shorts, white socks, playing from left to right in this second half towards the Ted McDougall stand. Kerkez makes a block for Bournemouth. He's gone down hurt. Play continues though with Solanke on the ball just inside his own half. Low curling pass away to the right. Kerkez is slowly dragging himself to his feet. May have been slightly winded there, but he's okay. Back up and playing. Lewis Cook, lofted ball down the right. Semenyo stretches out a left leg, controls it, runs at the City defenders up to the corner of the Manchester City penalty area, and then decides just to lay the ball back here. And Zabarnyi, the Ukrainian, comes across to his fellow centre-back Senesi. Straight ball up to Christie. Nice little clip round the corner from him. Bournemouth in the black and red vertical stripes, black shorts, black socks with the red tops, playing right underneath the nose of their manager, Andoni Iraola, who stands in the technical area on a chilly night, wrapped up in a big padded coat with his hands in pockets. But then he takes them out to clap them together and encourage his team to further efforts. Ball forward from Zabarnyi. Semenyo in a more central position. Good feet from him. Nice vision as well to find Tavernier on the left-hand side. Kerkez supporting run. Chip cross, not a good one, over the bar and behind for a goal kick to Manchester City. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1. But Franny Benali, as you were just saying on Sports Extra, encouraging start to the second half by the home team.
It most definitely is, Ali, isn't it? You know, they finished that first half with the positive strike on goal, Ederson making the save, but they've started the second half well as well. But that'd be frustrating for Bournemouth, you know, getting into a position where they're just looking for that final bit of quality, the ball into the box, but Kerkez's cross just drifting behind the crossbar. But it's been a bright start since the second half has started for Bournemouth. They need to capitalise on this play.
Here they come again. Kerkez in a central position, attacking position as well. Slides a pass to his right. Sits up for Kluivert. Dipping shot. Ederson gets down and saves, and the ball just squirts out from his grasp, but he's able to reach forward and grab it inside the 6-yard box. Manchester City's Brazilian goalkeeper, all in green, then comes striding out to the edge of the penalty area. My thanks to John Akers as well for the restorative cup of tea, which is being occasionally slurped during the second half here.
I didn't get one, Ali.
You didn't actually. Did you ask for one?
He did.
All right. Maybe this is yours.
For his expression. No, he did ask me.
Silva to Haaland. Haaland could be in here, running into the Bournemouth penalty area. Hits the right-footed shot. Zabani did so well. He was knocked to the floor by Haaland's strength, but he didn't give up. He got up again, made the block on the Haaland shot, and it meant that Neto didn't mean to make a save. It's a Manchester City corner.
It was good play in the end, wasn't it? Sort of just Zabani sort of getting back to his feet after the initial brush off is the best way to probably call it from Haaland. I mean, the strength of the man is just incredible. I would love to be out there playing against him.
Would you?
Yeah, just to see how good he actually is.
Yeah, I can tell you I wouldn't. Here's Foden with the corner from the right into the far post. Defenders and attackers up. Who got the last touch there? Referee Jared Gillett says it came off a Bournemouth player, so that'll be another corner for Manchester City. Phil Foden, the goal scorer, 24th minute of the game. Haaland created it with a really good run, diagonal run, then used that strength actually to hold off Senesi, get his shot away. Neto palmed it into the path of Foden, who's now scored in 5 successive games against Bournemouth. Corner again for Manchester City, in from the left-hand side. Spilt by Neto, scrambling desperately for the ball. Bournemouth managed to get it out of their penalty area, and luckily for them, Kluivert is there first. Unluckily for them, Kluivert has given it away. Akanji's now putting pressure on Adam Smith. Akanji's won it off Smith, and this could be danger for Bournemouth, but Manchester City just slow it down, get back into the passing rhythm and play the ball to Kovacic. So more reaction being gathered, I'm sure, at Murrayfield. Scotland beating England 30-21. Here's Foden down by the byline, cut back, comes all the way through to Bernardo Silva. Black and red shirts in front of him, left-footed drive is blocked by Kirkes, and behind for another Manchester City corner.
Wonderful bit of football from City there, just patient build-up to begin with, but Akanji just found a little pass for Foden, and he's almost on the byline before he cuts the ball back, but Haaland had made his run to the near post with no other City players other than Bernardo Silva making the run, but they've won a corner.
Phil Foden hoists his right arm in the air, pauses because the referee's blown his whistle and has spotted a little bit of argy-bargy in the 6-yard box, as the great Bill McLaren used to say, which seems very apt on a Six Nations weekend, and he of course would have been delighted with a Scotland win over England. Foden's corner, good delivery on the goal line almost, that is headed away by Kirkes. Tavernier leaps, powerful header from Rodri. Back to Kovacic. Kovacic on the half volley lofts a ball up. Solanke is there in the left back position to head it away. Bernardo Silva leaps in and nods a ball down to Foden. Foden holds off Solanke. Plays a pass into the feet of Silva. Silva's cross takes a deflection. Neto's brave there. Dives on the ball. Haaland was hurtling towards him, and Haaland actually graciously leapt out of the way and over the goalkeeper. 9 minutes gone in the second half. 5 Live in Sports Extra. Bournemouth 0. Manchester City 1, with commentary of the League Cup final. Programme 5 Live Sport coming live from Wembley tomorrow. Kicks off at 3 o'clock. Semenyo's away down the right-hand side. Nearly finds Solanke. Oh, does find Tavernier. What a miss. The goal was gaping at the far post. Poor contact. Hooks it across the face of goal. And Manchester City have got it away. Clever flick from Foden. Rodri plays it up towards Haaland. And this game suddenly opening up at the start of the second half. What an opportunity for Marcus Tavernier.
Oh, what a chance for Bournemouth and Tavernier, especially, as you say, Ali. It was a great break down the right-hand side from Semenyo, getting past Nathan Ake, and then his ball across the box. You thought Dominic Solanke was going to be the one getting the touch in on goal, but it fell to Tavernier, and he just fluffed his finish a little bit, just scuffing it, not getting a good strike on it, but it certainly brought the home crowd to life.
Brilliant from Manchester City, cutting right through the heart of Bournemouth here. Stones driving forward, flicks a little pass to his left. Haaland's lurking at the far post. Nunes rolls a pass to Bernardo Silva. Now Haaland receives it, ball at his feet, edge of the box, lays it back to Rodri, thinking about a first-time thump, gives it to Foden. Foden working in really tight spaces, just hits the pass beyond Haaland. But the move up in the middle of the pitch was very simply Edison dribbling out to the edge of the box, rolling a pass into midfield, and City bang bang like that, they're on top of you.
It's when within 2 or 3 passes, it just shows how you go from one end of the pitch to the other and how dangerous they are in that kind of scenario. But Bournemouth will be kicking themselves. If they've got to get anything from this game, that's the kind of opportunity and chance that they've got to be taking.
Franny Benali with us here on 5 Live. As I say, rugby reaction still being gathered. Scotland winners in the Calcutta Cup against England. Ireland beating Wales by 31 points to 7. France-Italy tomorrow. Commentary of that one will start online. It kicks off at 3 o'clock. And then after Sheffield United away to Wolves finishes, That will switch to Sports Extra for France, Italy. All the reaction in the Rugby Union Daily podcast, all the football reaction, of course, in the Football Daily, and lines now open for 606 as well to get your calls in for the phone in tonight. 08085 909 693. Foden twisting and turning, 25 yards out in a central position, and the pass eventually is made out to the left. Kovacic back to Ake, Rodri wide to Nunez. Mateus Nunez, a starter for Manchester City this evening, turns, strokes a pass to Kovacic. Kovacic, low ball into the feet of Foden, brings it immediately under control, holds off Christie, back to Kovacic. Kovacic to Rodri. And Manchester City trying to move the Bournemouth defenders around, but they're being forced back to the halfway line here. Akanji plays back to Diaz. Diaz running across the halfway line, chased by Solanke. Laid off to Ake. Diaz again, just inside the Bournemouth half on the left. Now to Nunez, and Foden starting to make a little dart down the inside left channel. Nunez decides not to go that way. Ball is straight forward to Bernardo Silva. He's under pressure from Kirkes. Bournemouth win it back. Home fans love that. Christie, little pass low to his left to Tavernier. Lots of space for Kirkes on the left. The ball rolls in front of him, down by the byline. Back he comes to Tavernier again. Tavernier to Christie. Manchester City now back in numbers, leading Bournemouth by a goal to nil, and moving within a point of Liverpool at the top of the Premier League table. Arsenal-Newcastle, of course, kicks off at 8 o'clock this evening. Updates of that one into 6:06. Little scoop pass from Senesi on the left. Christie plays it across here to Lewis Cook, his central midfield partner. Cook is sitting deep, gets the ball back again from Adam Smith. Now a diagonal ball from Zabani, bounces twice in front of Kirkes, and Kanji comes racing back, knocks it out for a throw into Bournemouth, and they take that immediately. Thrown to the feet of Tavernier. Tavernier to Christie. Christie's left-footed cross takes a deflection, the ball loops up in the air, header away from Rodri. Cook beats Haaland to the ball, it spins loose. Senesi just scrambles to his left and manages to keep it in play. Looks up and sees a load of white shirts in front of him, so Bournemouth recycle and come back central to the halfway line. Senesi's curling pass, looking for Solanke. He's just got beyond Ruben Diaz here, holding Diaz off. Good centre forward play. Play back to Tavernier, strokes the shot wide. Goal kick for Manchester City, but more encouragement for Bournemouth. Franny Benali.
Wonderful passage of play by Bournemouth, wasn't it? Much better, moving the ball around, and it was a great bit of play. Solanke making a little run into the box, receiving the ball, keeping possession, a little lay back for Tavernier, but his shot scuffed past the post. But much better from Bournemouth, and the home supporters certainly feeling, while the game's still at 1-0, the longer the match goes on, that their side might get something from this game.
Still just 1-0 to Manchester City at the moment. The hulking figure of Haaland holds off Senesi. The ball is played to Kovacic. Haaland is sprinting down the middle here, trying to get involved. Nunez's cross is overhit and sliced, and goes behind for a goal kick with Foden not aimlessly chasing, but it was a lost cause. He was never going to get there, and Bournemouth get the goal kick.
Certainly just feel that the momentum's just shifted in Bournemouth's favour, don't you, with the chances that they've had the last 5 or 10 minutes, and City, a couple of their passes just going astray, and that cross into the box, typifying sort of how this second half has gone, really. Certainly Bournemouth the better side, a little bit more confident, but need that goal to get back on level terms.
Yeah, still trailing by a goal to nil. Thoughts of Franny Benali on 5 Live. Bernardo Silva nearly pounces inside the Bournemouth half as they tried to play out. Tavernier can't quite keep the ball in play. It's just crossed the touchline in front of Pep Guardiola. He gives it the thumbs up to his team, and they've won a throw in wide on the right. They're taking their time. Haaland just casually strokes the ball to Akanji. Looks like Jeremy Doku is getting ready to come on. Now, he had a real hell of a time against Bournemouth earlier in the season. 4 assists and a goal, I think it was, in Manchester City's 6-1 win against Bournemouth at the Etihad. So Bournemouth fans won't be pleased to see him getting ready to come onto the field. Stones forward to Haaland, back to Stones, just inside the Manchester City half, across to Silva, brilliantly worked by Manchester City. Now options for John Stones, curling ball just beyond Haaland, headed away. Stones will try and get there. Tavernier is back there in the left back position for Bournemouth, clears on the turn, up the left-hand touchline it goes, but Manchester City win it back. Again, a big thumbs up from the Manchester City boss, Pep Guardiola. Rodri rolls it back to Diaz. Doku is stripped off and ready to go, just doing his exercises now. On the touchline in front of us, Pep Guardiola wraps him up, puts his left arm around him, gives him some final instructions as City continue to attack. They would love the second goal to give themselves that cushion. Here's Rodri, cross to Diaz, and again shipped on to Akanji. Akanji's got Tavernier in front of him, so calmly plays back into his own half. Diaz, closed down by Solanke, gets the block on it. Solanke, the ball goes spinning up in the air. He can't control it. Silva hoists it forward. Haaland walking back from the offside position, lets that ball run to Zabani and then puts the pressure on Zabani, and Zabani just bumps him away and plays back to Neto. Now that's loose from Senesi. Foden's won it off him. Wide on the right for Manchester City. Kirkes comes sliding in to cut out the cross that was aimed at Bernardo Silva, and Kirkes does an excellent job. He then flicks a clearance into the shins of Silva, and that'll be a goal kick for Bournemouth. Franny Benali.
Yeah, clever play from Kirkes there, wasn't it? Knowing what he was doing, just playing the ball off Bernardo Silva to win a goal kick for his team. But that thumbs up that you mentioned from Pep Guardiola was towards John Stones. A great little bit of passage of play from City, and John Stones was at the heart of it, just playing some nice little neat 1-2s with his teammates, moving the team up the pitch. But City the first team to make a change.
Yeah, Mateus Nunes started the game this evening, but he's coming off. Jeremy Doku is coming on. Nunes was playing wide left, so I think Doku will head straight over there. Bernardo Silva on the right. Phil Foden in that attacking formation, assisting Erling Haaland. Those two combining for the goal. The Haaland shot that was saved by Neto fell at the feet of Foden. Foden, his 16th goal of a hugely productive season so far. Lines open for 606. That follows us here on 5 Live. The number to dial is 08085 909 693, and the show will have the updates from the Emirates Stadium of Arsenal against Newcastle. If you're a rugby league fan, you may well want the World Club Challenge. That's over on Sports Extra from 7:45 tonight. You can also watch it on BBC Two. That is Wigan Warriors against the Penrith Panthers. 18 minutes gone, second half. Bournemouth throw. Adam Smith launches it down the line. Semenyo jumps to try and win 2 headers. Becomes a 50-50 in midfield. Bernardo Silva's attempted clearance runs to Haaland, gives it to Foden. Wide it goes to Doku. Dangles a left foot in front of the ball, and then with his right foot feeds it back to the halfway line. Rodri scoops one up in the air. Falls at the feet of Diaz. Solanke closes in. Across here to Akanji. Akanji's ball is asking Foden to run. He can't get to that one. Senesi cuts it out. Lofted ball forward onto the chest of Christie. Christie bobbles a pass to Solanke, and Solanke picks up the pace and lays it off to Tavernier on the left. Tavernier tries to slice one back into the middle of the pitch. Intercepted by Foden. Kovacic was nearly caught by a foul there. Manchester City come quickly on the counter. Foden's floated ball finds Doku. Brilliant first touch. Doku now running at Adam Smith just inside the Bournemouth penalty area. 3 Bournemouth defenders close around him, and eventually Smith gets a foot in, and it goes behind for the Manchester City corner. They lead Bournemouth by a 1-0.
Wonderful switch of play by City, wasn't it, out to the substitute Doku, and as you say, his touch was just outstanding, just flicking out a foot, killing the ball dead, and then he's driving it. The defenders of Bournemouth, and it took 3 of them, as you say, to just surround him, just checking his run. But City certainly in no rush to be taking this corner by the looks of it.
No, seem to be slightly confused as to who's actually meant to be taking the corner, and Phil Foden eventually decides that he will take on that responsibility. He goes trotting over to the opposite side of the ground to us in front of the East Stand. That's where the Manchester City fans are housed, so he gets a warm round of applause from them. And here he comes. It's going to be an away swinger with his left foot deep. Header flicked away by Semenyo. The ball bounces in front of Bernardo Silva. He immediately plays it back to Kovacic, who's sitting right at the base of the Bournemouth half. Across to Doku. Doku on the left. Little give and go from him. Continues his run. Rodri's ball into the far post. Diaz challenging for it. Semenyo's on the floor. Diaz flicks a shot at goal. The referee spotted an infringement inside the penalty area. Diaz handball, possibly. Anyway, free kick for Bournemouth, and it remains Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1. So tomorrow, Wolves Sheffield United kicks off at 1:30. 5 Live Sport on air from 12 o'clock live from Wembley. Second half of Wolves Sheffield United will be on Sports Extra. League Cup final kicks off at 3. Chelsea against Liverpool, with Alan Shearer as part of the commentary team. And if you have a listen to the Planet Premier League podcast available on the BBC Sounds app, really interesting League Cup final preview there. Cesc Fabregas and Neda Manua, Statman Dave in conversation with Mark Chapman as Bournemouth come forward, attacking down the right with Semenyo, supporting run from Adam Smith. Ake gets the block on the cross. Bournemouth win a corner.
Well, it's Ryan Christie for Bournemouth in the centre of the park there. He's probably been one of their most positive players this afternoon, just shifting the ball out to the right-hand side to another positive player for Bournemouth. Semenyo driving at the full-backs. Bournemouth winning the corner. They feel very much like they're still in this game of football. Yeah, just a goal in it. Corner being taken underneath the big screen, back of the net in big block capital letters. Corner swung in deep towards the far post. Header on goal, brilliantly saved by Edison. Stretching shot driven in. Manchester City managed to get bodies in the way. Closest Bournemouth have come. We've had the Tavernier miss in the second half. Solanke very nearly thought he'd scored there. Kluivert inside the Manchester City penalty area. Rodri stretches out a long left leg and clears for City, and then eventually an offside flag goes up. So Manchester City will get a free kick. Solanke climbing, beat Ake in the air. Edison's behind the goal line, but gets the fist to the ball in front of the goal line just in time, Franny. Yeah, perfect timing from Edison, and it was a good header back under pressure from Ake from Solanke. Good ball in, and then the shot from Kirke has been cleared by one of the defenders. But Bournemouth are certainly asking a lot more questions in the second half with the City defence, and playing much better in this second 45 minutes, and they're making their first change of the afternoon as well. Double change for Bournemouth. Dango Ouattara is coming on for Marcus Tavernier. He'll be kicking himself, but he hasn't scored for Bournemouth in this game. Remains Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1. And very much looking forward to seeing Alex Scott again, the 20-year-old signed from Bristol City in the summer. Very exciting player. He's going to come on for Justin Kluivert, who's somewhat having to drag himself from the field. I think he was enjoying himself and felt Bournemouth were getting into this game, but he's having to make way. And Alex Scott comes on, shirt untucked, socks rolled down, tiny shin pads that all of them seem to wear nowadays, in the white boots, wears the number 14, and he's a lovely footballer to watch. So we're going to see him for 20 minutes or so. This is 5 live at the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1. Edison's clearance up towards Haaland, chests it back to Silva. Silva's ball over the top of Haaland, and that runs through to Neto. Yeah, it's a good ball up to Haaland. Good sort of centre forward play, retaining the ball, going back to Bernardo Silva, but just that final ball in the last third for City of late just isn't working really, is it? Firework goes off ahead of us as Dominic Solanke gets onto the ball edge of the penalty area for Bournemouth, hits the shot. Diaz on the floor, slides in to make the block. That shocked everyone, including the Manchester City defenders. Solanke unperturbed. Another strike on goal. All going off now. Quite a display here on the south coast, particularly with that beautiful big glowing full moon as well, away to the right hand side. So entertainment up in the air, entertainment on the grass in front of us, and Bournemouth with Kirkes. Ball to Semenyo, lovely football onto the left hand side, low driven shot, not the best hit there. Ruben Diaz is able to make the block. Ouattara just into the game, not quite up to the speed of things, but Bournemouth do have a throw wide on the left. 20 minutes to play. They trail Manchester City by 1-0, who with a win will be a point behind Liverpool at the top of the Premier League table. Arsenal, Newcastle to come at 8, and Liverpool in that League Cup final tomorrow against Chelsea. Haaland is dragged back. Senesi is booked for that. Manchester City get a free kick inside their own half, and Iraola and Guardiola, the two Spaniards, have a little chuckle together. Guardiola saying in the week, big fan of Iraola, what he's doing at Bournemouth, what he's done previously in his management career, and Manchester City are certainly getting a good test. Yeah, and Pep Guardiola said in his comments before the game, didn't he? He certainly wasn't underestimating this match, albeit it's been a one-sided affair over the years. Foden running away brilliantly from Zabani. Still Foden trying to shrug off his attentions inside the penalty area. Now rolls it back to the edge of the box. Touch from Kovacic, hits the shot, low one, skids wide of the far post, took a deflection, and that'll be a Manchester City corner. What a dangerous break that was. Foden, who's been outstanding. It's not just the goal he scored, but he's been involved. Everything City's been positive today. And City just getting the judgment on the corner there for the deflection, but very dangerous attack from City. Phil Foden, again, is going to be the man to take the corner in front of those Manchester City fans. Light
blue City shirts splashed around the away section there. Jeremy Doku comes jogging in to offer an option short for Foden. He's not going to use that. Curls it in with the sweet left foot, high and deep to the far post. Haaland's up, Ake's up with a floated header that was just going wide, but Neto makes the save to make sure he's got it covered. Ake, the former Bournemouth man. Kevin De Bruyne sitting amongst the Manchester City substitutes again this evening. Akanji with a very artful block of the pass forward from Christie in mid-air, sort of dancing up little back heel block on the ball. And here's Bernardo Silva. John Stones makes a good run down the inside right channel. Silva finds him and Stones tries to knock it past Senesi, pick it up the other side. Senesi blocks it, and that will be a corner for Manchester City. So let's see what Manchester City can do with this. Arsenal-Newcastle kicking off in an hour's time. We'll bring you the team news on that very shortly. Jet black skies above us here at the Vitality Stadium. Fireworks have stopped. Foden breathing heavily, pauses, looks into the penalty area, looking to pick a target, and now delivers with his right foot. Neto comes, has a bit of a flap at that, does get enough on it for Alex Scott to get to the ball, fires it away up the field. Julian Alvarez is waiting to come on for Manchester City. They're leading Bournemouth by 1-0, and Ederson very casually collects the ball just outside his penalty area and plays to Kovacic. Here's Bernardo Silva into the feet of Akanji. Akanji turns inside his own half, out to Foden on the right. Kirkes right in his face immediately, so Foden plays it back to Bernardo Silva, cross to Kovacic, back to Diaz. Diaz goes to his goalkeeper, not just enough on the pass as Solanke comes racing in. Ederson knew what he was doing, it took it past Solanke inside his penalty area, and Diaz gets another go. Diaz with a curling ball down the right. Now this is going to be an interesting challenge. Haaland against Zabani. Zabani shoves Haaland to the floor. No respect, says Haaland. Shrugs, thinks he should have got a free kick. Akanji with a strong challenge on Christie. Christie goes tumbling. Sliding challenge now from Kirkes on Foden. It's getting physical here, and on the ball is Rodri. Steps in to settle it down for Manchester City, and Stones plays across to Kovacic. Kovacic brings it forward 5 yards. Low pass from him to Doku. Doku back to Kovacic again, just inside the Bournemouth half. Stones to his right. Stones turns away from Ryan Christie. Back to Kovacic. Bournemouth have settled into their defensive positions again, and Diaz plays it across to Akanji as Manchester City wait to bring Julian Alvarez into the game. Foden nearly fouled there by Senesi, who's following him everywhere. Senesi right up to the halfway line with him there. Back it comes to Stones. Manchester City probing, as ever, looking for a weakness that they can try and exploit. Foden lays it back here to Rodri. Forward to Doku. Doku with his back to goal to Foden, to Stones. All just inside the Bournemouth half. Now Kovacic onto the ball, comes speeding forward, straight pass up to Haaland, lays it off to Silva, looks to play it back to Haaland. Haaland sliding challenge on him, hits the shot from the angle. Neto makes the save. Doku tries to get to the rebound. Bournemouth defenders beat him to it, and Lewis Cook plays it down the right. Challenge on Semenyo. Bournemouth get the free kick, and finally we can get to the Emirates Stadium. John Bennett has the team news for Arsenal-Newcastle.
A big headline, Ali, in the Newcastle team. Loris Karius starts in goal. Martin Dubravka not in the squad, so we assume he's got an illness or an injury. It's only his second Newcastle appearance for Karius. Livramento comes in for Byrne. Isak comes in to replace Harvey Barnes. One change for Arsenal. Jorginho for Trossard.
Thank you, John. Game kicks off at 8 o'clock. Updates into 6:06 tonight. Lines are open. Whatever you want to say to Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton, here's the number to dial: 08085 909 693. 15 minutes to go. Erling Haaland is replaced by Julian Alvarez, and Pep Guardiola knows that Erling Haaland's not going to be best pleased. Almost gave him a little kiss on the cheek there to say sorry, pal. Yeah, very interesting. I mean, Alvarez has been outstanding for City, hasn't he? But Haaland, of all people, you think would be someone that wouldn't be looking to be replaced. The two real efforts he's had today, Neto has saved. Oh, cross in towards that far post. Ouattara was lurking. Manchester City have managed to get the ball out. It's now back in their box, and Stones under pressure has to clear from the byline, goes out for a throw-in to Bournemouth on the right. So Manchester City are leading the game, but they've not killed it off yet. Erling Haaland gets a rest. Next action for Manchester City is Tuesday night, away to Luton in the FA Cup. That'll be a commentary on Radio 5 Sports Extra. This is on 5 Live and Sports Extra tonight, and as I say, 6:06 follows us on 5 Live. Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage want to hear from you. 08085 909 693 is the number to dial. So Neto's got the ball in hand, and it does feel at the moment, Franny, you know, the way Bournemouth have been going about it late in the first half and in this second half, they could get themselves a goal, so 1-0 may not be enough for Manchester City.
No, most definitely. They've had chances in the second half. City haven't capitalised on the ones that have come their way. Bournemouth could have been a little bit better in certain scenarios, and you know, looking back, we'll say that they needed to take maybe one of those opportunities that they've had so far in the game, but with what's remaining still, there's still time to get something from this match for Bournemouth. 14
minutes to play. Six Nations scores in case you'd missed them. Ireland beat Wales 31-7 in the first game of the day. Scotland winners of the Calcutta Cup again, winning 30 points to 21. All the reaction and analysis in the Rugby Union Daily. And tomorrow it's France-Italy, which kicks off at 3 o'clock. Commentary starts online. It will then move to Sports Extra. Here come Bournemouth. Adam Smith steaming forward, running to the edge of the box. Doku's there, knocks him over. Referee says no foul. Solanke gets to the loose ball for Bournemouth, trying to turn inside the City penalty area. Alex Scott is there. Back to Semenyo. City defending desperately, but they have won the ball now. Kovacic brings it away, and Semenyo's fouled Kovacic, and Manchester City get the free kick. And you can hear that sense of injustice from all the Bournemouth fans, because they felt there was possibly a free kick that could have been given edge of the City penalty area. We'll have a look on the replay. Yeah, and that's exactly the reason why the home supporters are venting their frustration. They felt that Adam Smith was fouled by Doku. There's a little bit of nudge in there, but not a huge amount in it. I think Smith knows he's on the edge of the box and he feels a bit of contact, so he goes to ground, but for the referee, no decision given. And then Kovacic is fouled, which is just sort of upset the home supporters, but a promising break once again from Bournemouth. Bournemouth sensing an opportunity. That in itself brings its own danger, because Manchester City can be absolutely lethal on the counter-attack. Kovacic has won another free kick, and Pep Guardiola also senses the issue here, and he's shouting across the field, desperately trying to get the attention of Julian Alvarez, and trying to wrest control for his team back in this game. And then, having completely lost it here, goes over to apologise to the fourth official, Simon Hooper. So the big call here, Erling Haaland off, Julian Alvarez on. Manchester City still leading Bournemouth by 1-0, and the win will take them within a point of Liverpool at the top of the table. And Arsenal host Newcastle at 8 o'clock. Ake chasing back into his own half in the left-back position. They're under pressure, City here. Clears. Lewis Klook blocks the clearance, slides in, and it goes out for a throw-in to City on the left. Another change about to be made by Bournemouth. Romain Favre, 25-year-old Frenchman in his first season at the club, was on loan to Lorient for the first half of the season. He's going to come on and replace Marcos Senesi. So that's an interesting change from Andoni Iraola. That's going to give Manchester City something to think about. Lewis Cook comes trotting back alongside Zabarnyi, and Favre goes a little further forward for Bournemouth. Franny Benali. Yeah, Cook just slotting into the back four there by the looks of it, and Iraola just almost playing around with the chessboard a little bit, just trying to tweak something that will just shift the favour in Bournemouth's direction a little bit, something that can just make a difference from the touchline. Solanke looking threatening again. Ryan Christie's had another good game for Bournemouth. Semenyo's in on the right-hand side, cut back into the box. Again, Ruben Dias gets the crucial touch. Julian Alvarez goes sprinting onto the ball inside the Manchester City half, then stops dead in his tracks. Plays back to Akanji. Just over 10 minutes to play. 5 Live, Sports Extra. All available on the BBC Sounds app if you're on the move. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1. And lines open for 606. Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton waiting to take the calls tonight. Usual number 08085 909 693. Bournemouth fans sensing their team might be able to get something out of this game. Bournemouth have never beaten Manchester City in their history in 20 attempts. 2 draws, 18 defeats. Here's Doku on the left. Bournemouth got to try and maintain this sort of shake-up of City, you know, keep getting in amongst them, get the supporters with them as well. For this last 10 minutes plus any added time, they can't let City get into a pattern of passing the ball around and dominating the game. Manchester City beat Brentford 1-0 on Tuesday night. That was enough to get the job done with a goal from Erling Haaland. Here they lead thanks to a goal from Phil Foden. They're on the ball, trying to control the game. Rodri, diagonal pass, bounces once in front of Doku. Doku now able to run at Smith, hits the shot, that's blocked. That'll be a corner for Manchester City. 10 minutes to play, plus added time. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1. City have not been able to find the second goal to make this game a little bit more comfortable for them. Julian Alvarez now takes over on the set-piece duty for Manchester City. Kevin De Bruyne is going to get some football this evening. Sat it out against Brentford on Tuesday night. The unmistakable long flowing hair of De Bruyne this season. Last word with Guardiola. Alvarez takes the corner, vicious in-swinging delivery, punched away by Neto. Scott gets a touch on the ball, comes back to Alvarez. Manchester City in their white shirts. Here's Doku, another curling ball in, headed away. This one reaches Bernardo Silva. Little step over from him, then plays back to Rodri. Rodri has to scurry back 5 or 6 yards, still inside the Bournemouth half, to gather possession for City. Foden's deep, forward to Stones. Stones outside of the right foot, prods it round the corner to Alvarez. Alvarez loses that, and then Semenyo's on the move again. Sliding challenge from Ake. The ball is back with Bournemouth inside their half, and across it comes here to Zabani. Zabani to Kirkes. Kirkes left-footed ball, looking for the run of Solanke. Nearly got onto that, but Ouattara is able to do so. And Ouattara's going to have a run at Akanji. Still Ouattara, taking Akanji on, tries to get the cross in. Akanji sticks a leg out, blocks, throwing for Bournemouth on the left.
Yeah, good defending from Akanji against Bournemouth substitute, but he's got some more defending to do now and does it again really well. Ball dropping to Silva, and it's Akanji who comes away with the ball.
Akanji plays to Alvarez, onto Foden. Foden immediately trying to get Alvarez away down the right. Sabani read it, covered it as well. Lewis Cook onto it for Bournemouth. Brilliant finish to this game. Great ball from Cook. Ouattara in space on the left. Early cross right across the face of goal. Solanke was still trying to catch up with play. Semenyo was in the middle. He couldn't get on the end of it. And that's another half chance for Bournemouth. And Kevin De Bruyne is about to come on for Manchester City. He's going to replace Mateo Kovacic in the City midfield. 7 minutes plus added time remaining. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1.
Ouattara's got to do better with the delivery there. He may have been offside looking back at a brief replay, but the ball into the box has got to be better. That's one of those scenarios where if the ball's right, they score. Semenyo's in the middle of the goal, unmarked. It would have been a goal for Bournemouth. Albeit maybe I think VAR would have looked at it and probably disallowed it. But again, just shows that Bournemouth is still getting an opportunity in this game.
One of these games that Manchester City know they have to win in this very tight title race. Liverpool not playing this weekend. Full commentary on the League Cup final tomorrow. 5 Live Sport coming live from Wembley, on air from 12. Game kicks off at 3 o'clock. Alan Shearer, part of the commentary team. We've got Wolves Sheffield United in the Premier League at 1:30. That'll start on 5 Live. The second half will be on Sports Extra. And then we're into FA Cup football next week. Commentaries all the way, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Coventry against Maidstone on Monday night. Should be a good one. This is Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1. Zabani's pass is cut out. Foden giving everything for the cause. Brilliant challenge by Ouattara. Foden's gone down holding his right leg. Jared Gillett says no foul. Ryan Christie, left-footed pass from him. Finds Ouattara in space on the left. He's been a threat. Support on the outside from Kirkes. Doesn't use him. Still Ouattara trying to hold off Akanji. Back onto the left foot. Driven shot. Hooks it wide of the far post. Good 5 yards wide and behind for the goal kick, but the threat is there. And Enis Ünal is about to come on for Bournemouth. The Turkish striker on loan from Getafe, who's made a couple of substitute appearances in the last couple of games. Luis Sinisterra as well. Iraola continues to give Manchester City things to think about. And as I keep reminding you, 606 follows us tonight on 5 Live. Lines are open. Number to dial 08085 909 693. And now Manchester City taking their time over the restart, and Bournemouth fans complaining, and Iraola joins them in those protests. Ball is lobbed down the right-hand touchline. Favre almost overruns that. Smith thumps it forward with his right foot for Bournemouth. Solanke can't keep hold of it. Here's John Stones. Finds Foden. Foden, the difference between the two teams this evening so far. And Erling Haaland no longer out there. De Bruyne immediately finds Alvarez in space on the right. Alvarez dribbles into the Bournemouth box, plays it back to De Bruyne. who's been brought on to assert control for Manchester City in the closing stages of this game. De Bruyne caught late by Ryan Christie. He played the pass. Christie was thundering towards him, ran into him, and that'll be a free kick for Manchester City. 25 yards from goal in the inside right channel. Franny Benali.
Yeah, most definitely a foul. Correct decision on De Bruyne from Christie. Christie didn't want to be watching City and De Bruyne just pinging the ball around at this stage of the game and just rushing in with that challenge. A little bit of frustration maybe, but just goes to show how much they've been putting effort in to the second half. Bournemouth, with a little bit more quality, may have had a bit more of a reward.
City closing in on victory. It'll be 8 wins in 9 Premier League games if they can achieve it this evening, and De Bruyne, having been fouled, is ready to take this free kick. 4 white shirts in amongst the clutch of the red and black ones on the edge of the penalty area. Players wrestling for space. De Bruyne's delivery, pinpoint, far post. Neto diving forward, punches it away. Doku is out there on the left for Manchester City. Dummies the cross. Semenyo not falling for that. Makes the tackle, and Bournemouth come on the break. Semenyo's got real speed. That is cynical from Bernardo Silva. Brings him down inside the Bournemouth half. Goes and apologises. No good for Bournemouth. They were on the counter. They get the free kick. It's a professional doing his job, Franny. Yeah, from City's perspective, the most positive outcome, but making that foul, taking the booking, certainly didn't help Bournemouth because they had numbers breaking forward, and you'd say that Semenyo had a good chance of finding one of them, but they've now got a free kick inside halfway in their own half that Neto's going to take. Attacking changes being made. Unal is on, the Turkish striker. Sinisterra comes on for Kirkez, and I think it was Ryan Christie, the other player, to go off for Bournemouth. 2.5 minutes plus added time remaining. Lines open for 606 08085 909 693, the number to dial. Premier League scorelines you're reacting to. Fulham's famous win at Old Trafford. Manchester United 1, Fulham 2. Aston Villa beating Nottingham Forest by 4 goals to 2. Brighton 1, Everton 1. Palace beat Burnley 3-0 in Oliver Glasner's first game in charge. And here Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1, with updates of Arsenal Newcastle into 606. Can Bournemouth find themselves an equaliser and have a bit of a say in this title race? Semenyo, ever dangerous on the right, gets to that ball, dummies the cross. Ake in front of him, down by the byline. Semenyo into the Manchester City penalty area. Pass comes back to Smith, little dink ball to Semenyo again. City back in numbers. Semenyo is tackled by Doku, who gets the ball. Doku now dribbling in the left-back position, does absolutely brilliantly for Manchester City, brings it away and finds De Bruyne. De Bruyne tries to hold off young Alex Scott. Scott makes the tackle. Manchester City get the throw. Doku and De Bruyne doing very well down the left-hand side for City, but what a pass from Alex Scott to find Semenyo. Just dropping it in behind the fullback, finding his teammate. Another moment that you thought Bournemouth might have just found a way of getting a delivery into the box, but City are standing firm. 89th minute of the game. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1. Post-match reaction during 606 this evening. All the reaction and analysis in the Football Daily podcast via the BBC Sounds app. Zabarnyi plays across to Alex Scott. Now it's centre-back for Bournemouth late in this game. Ticking over into the 90th minute. Tavernier with one wonderful chance for them in this second half. Solanke's header, which Ederson just got to on the goal line. Scott's longer ball down the middle of the pitch. Stones stretches and heads away. Silva clears, only reaches the feet of Scott. Finds Solanke. Solanke surrounded by white shirts. Surely he can't get out of that little knot of players. He doesn't. Diaz forward to De Bruyne. Calmly strokes a pass to Rodri. Foden in space on the right-hand side. Foden looking for Alvarez in the box. Alvarez trying to wrestle his way past a couple of challenges, can't do it. Clever from Solanke, gets away from Rodri. Rodri tried to foul him, decides against it now, and Solanke brings the ball across the halfway line. Rodri looked back and saw that City had enough numbers to deal with it. Semenyo's cross into the box, header from Unal, down and wide. Ederson had it covered anyway. What a moment that could have been for the Turkish international in only his 3rd appearance for Bournemouth. The chance at the far post, clean contact on the ball, behind it went for the goal kick. 6 minutes of added time to come. Oh, it just shows you that, you know, they're still so in this game, Bournemouth, and it was a wonderful bit of play, good ball into the box. You just think that was the moment for the substitute to score, but he puts his header wide of the post. So frustrating for the home supporters. They've been so in this second half,
City just haven't really killed the game off at all at any stage of the game.
We're into 6 minutes of added time. Chris Sutton, Robbie Savage waiting to take the calls. Number to dial 08085 909 693 and John Bennett at the Emirates Stadium to bring you updates of Arsenal Newcastle. Unal in on the left, plays the ball into the penalty area, there and with the back, he's tackled. He was trying to work onto his right foot, and as he did so, Manchester City were able to get back and make the challenge on him, but still Bournemouth keep coming, and Manchester City are under pressure late in this game. Cook still inside the City half. Scott so composed on the ball, looks like he's got so much time. To Semenyo in the middle of the park, back to Zabani. Wide it goes to Ouattara, pass not good enough for Sinisterra, it's given away to Rodri. Rodri holds off the challenge, play to De Bruyne. Manchester City looking to kill the game. De Bruyne's got options. To his right is Alvarez. Alvarez with a touch inside the penalty area. He's slowed down, but finds Foden. Foden across to Doku. Doku's going to take on Smith on the outside. Smith watched the ball carefully, gets a foot on it, clears, but only as far as Bernardo Silva. And then Kevin De Bruyne says, let's slow things down. And he and Bernardo Silva play a little 1-2. 2 minutes of added time are up. 4 minutes still to go. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1. 6:06 on the way, and a great day's sport again for you on 5 Live Sport and Sports Extra tomorrow. Carabao Cup final live from Wembley, 3 o'clock kickoff. Chelsea against Liverpool is the centrepiece. Manchester City have won a free kick here, just outside the Bournemouth box on the left. Bournemouth complaining about the decision, and Manchester City quite happy, Franny, just to let the time tick away. It's been tough for them this week. In fact, held by Chelsea last week. Had to work very hard to beat Brentford on Tuesday, and this has been tough too. Yeah, they've just sort of, you can't call it stuttered through the game, City have you, but they've certainly not probably been at their best by any means. Bournemouth have always been in this game, certainly in this second half, and they've had the chances to have got at least one goal today, but just haven't found that little bit of quality in the key moment. Just over 3 minutes of added time remaining. Former Southampton defender Franny Benali with us for this one at the Vitality Stadium. De Bruyne plays the free kick to Doku. Doku was holding on to the ball, and then he tried to dart pass on the left, and he ran it over the byline. He's given it back to Bournemouth. They've got 3 minutes to try and find a goal. A goal that Arsenal fans and Liverpool fans would love. John Stones has gone down holding his head. He's picked himself up. Bournemouth keep playing. Solanke finds Sinisterra inside the box on the outside. Cross comes in. Backpedaling there is Rodri doing the defending for Manchester City. Cleared away. And now John Stones has gone down a second time, and I definitely think they should have a look at him. He leapt for a header on the halfway line. I think with Solanke, it seemed as though they clashed heads. Stones went down, bravely picked himself up, but absolutely no point being brave. If he's groggy, he needs to get checked. Yeah, I think the challenge was with the substitute now. Definitely a clash of heads. You see both players react, but John Stones seems to have had the worst of it and got to his feet initially. And then when his teammates were able to clear the danger in the box, he dropped to his knees again, but he's back on his feet without the medical team coming on. He seems okay. 2 minutes remaining of this game. 2 minutes of added time. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1. Phil Foden the goal scorer in the 24th minute. Ouattara's thrown to the box. Flick on from Semenyo. Solanke with the overhead kick. Didn't quite get it right, and the ball goes swivelling off his right boot and behind for the goal kick. 6:06 is on the way shortly. Iraola, both arms out, waving them to the skies, urging his team forward again. Manchester City looking like they're going to make it 15 wins in a row against Bournemouth. Beat them 6-1 earlier in the season. Been absolutely nothing like that this afternoon. Both teams in FA Cup 5th round action. Manchester City in FA Cup 5th round action Tuesday night away to Luton. That game will be on Sports Extra. Here's Bernardo Silva. Silva bringing it forward into the Bournemouth half. He's dragged back and fouled by Fabre. So Manchester City get a free kick, and Bernardo Silva, having won the free kick, gives it the old classic palms down to the floor. Let's just slow everything down. A minute of added time remaining. Referee's whistle blows. Rodri plays the free kick low to his right to Akanji. Foden down the line to De Bruyne. Can't keep that ball in play. Rather naughtily, just sticks a toe on the ball to prod it away. And he gets booked. He gets booked for doing that. The ball was already off the field, but he was just delaying Bournemouth taking the throw. and Kevin De Bruyne, even the great Kevin De Bruyne, gets himself a yellow card. 08085 909 693, number to dial for 606 tonight. And 5 Live Sport live from Wembley tomorrow for full commentary of the League Cup final. First major domestic trophy of the season. Chelsea against Liverpool. John Murray, Ian Dennis, Alan Shearer, the commentary team for that one. We might still have some drama here though, late in this game. Semenyo, little back heel wide on the right. Ball played into the edge of the box. Bernardo Silva gets there just in time for Manchester City. The ball runs to De Bruyne. De Bruyne's pass to Rodri. Laid off here to Ake. Desperately chased by a couple of Bournemouth players. Ake only clears it into space. Calmness from Lewis Cook. Dances round Alvarez. Feeds a ball down the right, but can't find a teammate, and Ake is able to go jogging back. We've played 6.5 minutes of added time already. Cleared away by Ake, but the ball's given away. Can Bournemouth do anything with it? Alex Scott is knocked over. It was a fair challenge. Manchester City may well get the last say in this game. Foden streaking forward. De Bruyne to his left if he's onside. De Bruyne takes a touch on the right foot. Has an effort at goal, completely misses the ball because Alex Scott nipped in. The touch was with the left foot. De Bruyne tried to stroke it with the right, but the ball had already gone when he tried to hit the shot. Here's Bernardo Silva, now just keeping the ball for Manchester City on the left, sliding challenge on him, and that'll be a throw-in for City. We played 7 minutes of added time, and Pep Guardiola is anxiously pacing. Wants the win, and it is another win for Manchester City in this fascinating title race. Phil Foden's goal does the business at the Vitality Stadium. It's enough to beat Bournemouth by 1-0, and it moves them to within a point of Liverpool at the top of the table. Liverpool on 60 points, Manchester City on 59 points, and Arsenal kicking off at 8 o'clock this evening on 55 points. So, Franny Benali, Manchester City got the job done, but I tell you what, that wasn't certain as Bournemouth got stronger throughout that second half.
They certainly did, yeah. Bournemouth were very much in this game in the second half. They finished literally on the stroke of half-time with a shot at Edison's goal. He made a save, and then they came out from the second half and had a real go. Had chances in this game. I think they'll be frustrated and kicking themselves that they didn't take a point from this match today. They see themselves drop a place in the table, but from City's perspective, it's 3 points. Not the most convincing or most dominant of games, but got to say, not just the goal scorer, but I thought Phil Foden was outstanding today, just always making himself available for the ball, always a threat and a problem to the Bournemouth side, it's a very interesting game of football we've seen today.
Yep, 8 wins and a draw in the last 9 Premier League games for Manchester City, just keeping that pressure on. No game for Liverpool tomorrow, no winning 7 for Bournemouth. They are in FA Cup 5th round action, of course, on Tuesday night as well, like Manchester City at home against Leicester. That is going to be a fascinating game. Absolutely no shame for them, Franny, in losing this game to Manchester City. I think Pep Guardiola, I can see him out there now embracing his players. No, they've been in a real battle.
Most definitely, yeah, and they'll be disappointed, as I say, not to take something from today. They'll take a lot of positivity when they look back on how they went about the game today, stayed in this match all the way right to the very end. And with those FA Cup 5th round games for both sides coming up, Bournemouth have big games against Burnley, Sheffield United, yes, Luton coming up. Those are going to be the games that sort of shape the rest of their season.
So Pep Guardiola in conversation with Phil Foden, both faces wreathed in smiles within a point of Liverpool at the top of the table. Number to dial for 606 tonight, 08085 909 693. Do not forget what we've got coming your way on 5 Live tomorrow, live from Wembley at 12 o'clock, building up towards commentary of the Carabao Cup final between Chelsea and Liverpool. Before that, though, Premier League action, Wolves against Sheffield United. Commentary starts on 5 Live. The second half will be on Sports Extra, and France-Italy in the Six Nations kicks off at 3 o'clock. That starts online, and then after Wolves Sheffield United, that moves to Sports Extra. FA Cup commentaries on the way in the week as well. Results in the Six Nations: Ireland beat Wales by 31 points to 7. Scotland, winners of the Calcutta Cup again, they beat England by 30 points to 21. So you're going to get your calls in for 606. Robbie and Chris are waiting. 08085 909 693 is the number to dial. Bournemouth 0, Manchester City 1, it finished here. Fulham 2-1 winners at Manchester United. Oliver Glasner with a win in his first game in charge of Crystal Palace. They beat Burnley by 3-0. Aston Villa still pushing for that top 4 spot. Excellent win for them this afternoon. They beat Nottingham Forest by 4-2, and it finished Brighton 1, Everton 1.